All right. Hopefully people can hear me. Guys, if you're watching this as a recording, this is going to be a video on TPO. It's going to be a Q&A question for our Discord community. We do care highly about our feedback and what our community members either like, or what we want, or what we should throw away, what we should, keep, what we should improve on. We like their feedback. We like what they have to say. They're very important people and they deserve to be respected as such. So today, guys, we are the Trade Vets, and we're gonna go on Discord. We're gonna do our Q&A live, and we're gonna go over a few things. Mainly, it's gonna be TPO, so it's time, price, opportunity, a new trading strategy that's introduced into cryptocurrency. We're gonna be going over certain market strategies that may or may not work. We're gonna also touch up on psychology. We're going to go over a few community events, community announcements that we're going to have. And after that, we'll do a open mic Q&A. Or we might just do the open mic Q&A and kind of flow with it. And I'll just introduce those subjects as we continue. The structure is kind of irrelevant, but I just wanted to give you guys the information. That way, if that's something you're interested, you can watch the whole video. If this is a live stream, or if this is a replay, and those of you guys that are going to be in the room can have a little heads up of what we're gonna do. So guys, it's myself, C130, and the man himself, Bitcoin Brad.
Good morning, everybody.
So yeah, today it's gonna be a 30-minute stream, right? We're grinding hard on the TPO bootcamp, and the schedule is very tight because we have to organize the times, how many people we can facilitate, and everything else. And we will be able to answer all those TPO related questions for bootcamp. So we're gonna create a room in Discord. You guys can all join. You guys can all pile in. There's only 70 seats. So make sure that make sure that you're able to get in there. Make sure that your mic is muted. So once you join the room, make sure your mic is muted. Make sure that you're undeafened. If you're deafened, which means that you can't hear the call, we'll kick you out because somebody else that can get value, that can ask a question, that wants to ask a question, can get in there. Just make sure you're muted if you're not talking, and make sure you deafen yourself, right? We're not going to be super strict about it, okay? We understand that some people just don't know where the buttons are, and that's fine. Just make sure you ask somebody, make sure you try to fix it. But right, just make sure that those things are good. So before we begin, Brad, before we create the room and stuff, is there anything you want to say to anybody just in the morning and stuff?
I just want to say, good morning. It's Sunday morning where I'm at. Some of you tuning in from all around the world, probably Sunday night, or maybe early Monday morning, depending upon where you're at, I guess. We had a nice weekend. We hit a couple of good trades yesterday in the trade room. So I recommend everyone, just kind of relax today. Today's a day of refresh. Get that, take a day off from the charts if you've been staring at the charts for a long time. Refresh that mental capital, right? A lot of people, think about capital as the money that they have in their account, but they don't understand that the brain is capital as well. So, take a little break, refresh that mental capital, get yourself, back on track. Think about how your routine is going to go throughout the week of refresh. Envision your plan for the week, and plan on executing. You still there?
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
mic, I snorted and I forgot to unmute my mic.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, I was talking again to myself. Yeah, exactly, man. It's all about having a good structure, executing your plan, and rewarding yourself, for that plan. And it's good, man, that you break this down so easy. You break it down so simple in ways that it's not even anymore about the fact of whether or not if your trade plan is going to be effective or not. It's whether you're going to manage that risk and stick to it. And and if you do stick to your plan, like you said, like yesterday we had some good trades. It's really good, man, that you're able to give very good entries and have them make the decisions. And if they make those decisions and they end up gaining positive returns from it, then today, for like you said, they can reward themselves and just relax and not be enslaved to the markets.
Right. And then, today we're going to keep a nice little chill stream. I want to, talk a little bit about psychology, some of the pitfalls that you guys have, some of the issues that you guys might struggle with throughout the week. And then to start it out, I'd like to read a quote from, we read a quote yesterday, and I think that was, really helpful. I like to read quotes, like especially inspiring quotes. And so, today's a quote from one of my favorite books called Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. It says, "Money is just something you need in case you do not die tomorrow. Let this is a reminder for you not to obsess over profits and losses in whatever you do. Strive for enjoyment, focus, contentment, humility, openness," right? And that's kind of what we're what we're after here, right? We're not looking to become rich today or tomorrow or the next day. We're looking to be able to trade to enjoy our lives, right? To be able to, take my son in the morning, to go get donuts every Sunday morning, right? Those are the kind of things, the luxuries that, that I like to take advantage of, the things that I consider, those are my enjoyments in life, right? The things that I look forward to. So, I'm not really looking, I don't really care about going on like some huge yacht or having a huge party, right? I just want to, be able to enjoy my time off and, maybe have a little bit of extra time off where, I can do whatever I want. A lot of people have to work. And then even when their kids get home from school, they're still at work, right? I have, that's a luxury that I have that, when the kids get home from school, I'm home, so I can shut everything down and just, take my time with them.
It's always good to like, just have some time to yourself instead of just staring at a screen. I mean, that just sounds miserable, but it's just, no, everyone thinks that they should always be in a trade, but it's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, exactly.
Being content and being happy is one of the biggest things. And guys, we did open up the room on the trade alerts. So join that room, okay? If you want to catch some of the Q&A. Once we join it, it's gonna be 30 minutes, right? We just want to give a little brief touch up. So once we join it, it's gonna be 30 minutes. We're about to get it rolling. Things have been a little tight just for the TPO class because we have to start grinding the schedule out. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna join the room, and then me and Bitcoin Brad are gonna go ahead and just talk on there.
One more thing too, guys. So for your questions, if you're in the Discord, type them under that miscellaneous tab, and I'll be checking them if you don't want to speak up and say them, which is fine. And then also, if you guys have a question, right, and you haven't got it answered or we haven't got to it, put a comment on the YouTube video. I'm always going back to the YouTube videos and checking the comments to see, if anyone asked a question that we missed. Like C130 always says, we like to try to answer every question that we can. So if you have a question and if you're posting it in the Discord, just at me or post it under or comment on the YouTube video as a question, and we will get back to it and I'll answer it on there.
Guys, if you join the chat, make sure that you don't deafen yourself. So like undeafen yourself, that means you can't hear anything. Okay, so if you're deafened, you can't hear anything. So just undeafen yourself and you'll be good. And yeah, guys, like Bitcoin Brad says, right? Just always, manage your risk, stick to your trade plan, and things will be successful. And just make sure that you build your own plan and assess your own risk. But we do have 41 concurrent viewers. So we're gonna go ahead. Brad, you wanna go ahead and join the room? You wanna do it?
Yeah, I'll switch over there.
Okay, I'll see you there.
Yeah.
All right. So if you guys are hearing this, right, we're in the call right now. You guys can
everybody.
what's up? You guys can mute the Discord or mute the YouTube or like leave the YouTube, whichever one, right? That way you guys aren't like getting feedback and stuff. But so we're gonna run into a Q&A, guys. But first we want to talk about a few things. So Brad, I wanted to ask you this. So yesterday we posted a meme, and it was about the 424 strategy. And there was a few people that kind of the post wasn't meant to be offensive. It's just meant to show that our community sees things differently. But a few people kind of got a little I wouldn't say upset, but saw it as like not really a diss, but something that we shouldn't really be saying. So what do you think about that as far as like other strategies, like the 424, anyone's before or after it?
So honestly, I never even heard of the 424. So I have no idea what it is. So if somebody uses it and it works, like, good job. But the thing is it is, after looking into it a little bit yesterday after I saw 3 a.m. post the name, it's a momentum-based strategy, and so like I say, momentum-based strategies have their place, but you can't use momentum-based strategies in all the markets. One of the shorts that we took yesterday, in the room, if you guys were in the room, I posted first, hey, at everybody, and then I just posted some eyeballs, right? Because I'm trying to get you guys, like I said, I want to train you guys up to be, as good as me or better than me, right? Because if we have a whole community of people just, wrecking the market, we'll be a powerful bunch, and that's kind of my goal. And then later on in the day, I posted short looks good here, or short is on, or something like that, right? And then right before this, or right after we hit that short, and we hit a nice little, I think it was about 1,500 point move if you hung along for the ride. The move took about an hour and a half. But Midnight posted that right before we pushed down or whatever, the I guess it was like on the 4 hour or on the 1 hour, it was like red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot. So like literally right before we fell off the cliff, we were getting all these dots on Market Cipher, even on a big time frame like the 1 hour. So that you can only assume that on the smaller time frames that it is that the same colors, because that's what they're based off of. So the momentum indicator yesterday could have got you into a little bit of trouble. But if you were paying attention to market structure and you can still use your momentum indicator, but it is a lagging indicator. So the meme overall, I thought it's funny. I mean, if any of you guys watch that show, that's 3 a.m.'s favorite show. So, it was. I mean, I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, it's if you can't take a little bit of a joke, right? I'm sure. People joke on me all the time. I've been getting joked on my whole life because I'm not very tall, but I have super long arms, right? So it just doesn't. I mean, people need to be able to just take a joke. So
yeah, and it's all about having a good time and just enjoying what we got too, because someone's probably gonna fucking rag on TPO, and it's all about just taking it as a laugh and just moving on. So just to add off of that, it's a good, it's also like a psychological thing, and like that's another subject, Brad, that I kind of want to ask you. So for psychology, how, so what are a few things that you think are very helpful, or like very helpful for beginners, like as far as the markets and how they trade?
So one of the biggest things for beginners, in my opinion, is the routine, which I've kind of touched on a little bit in a couple of different videos. Is people need to get on a routine, right? Without being on a routine, it's going to be tough. Yeah, I gotta sneeze real quick. All right. Without being on a routine, and I'm not just talking about a trading routine, but that it does include that. I'm just talking about a life routine, like things that you do every single day. You set your schedule. You wake up. Like I wake up every single day, 4:30, and then I'm on my computer 5 o'clock, right? Even on the weekends, right? I'm up. I'm up early. I might kind of lag. Excuse me. I might kind of lag on the weekends just because I know that the market's not really doing anything, and I don't have any like pre-setup that I'm going to be looking at some stocks in the pre-market or anything like that. But that routine is key, right? And then your trading routine. So like when you sit down at your desk or your couch or your bedroom, wherever you trade from, doing the same things, builds that routine and kind of sets you up in that goal. There's a reason, if anybody watches baseball, you see these baseball players walk up to the plate and they do the same thing with their, they unstrap their gloves and strap their gloves. They tap their bat on the outside of their cleat. They pivot one of their foots deep into into the dirt, right? Every single time. And, and it's the same way in football, the same way in hockey, same way, and same way when I played soccer, I would come out, I would touch the goalpost or touch the side post, touch the other side post. I would sprint out to the 16-yard box, and then I would run back and slam dunk the middle of the crossbar. Right, every single game. It's just like a part of the routine that you have to get you in that zone to be able to trade. Right, and so, for me, with my routine, I get up. I get out of bed as soon as my alarm goes off. I drink a bunch of water, get in the shower, take my shower, turn it on to the ice cold version, and jump in that, that water that's freezing cold. Try to stay in there 30 seconds a minute. Do that 4 times. Then I get out, come down to my desk, grab a bag, turn my computer on, get my notebook out, start writing down what I see that's going on in the market. Make sure my fidget spinner's on my desk and one of my kids hasn't hid it somewhere in the house. And then I'm ready to go. And then I start evaluating what my trade plan is, set up my my next best trades, and then I just go from there. Are you getting a lot of feedback? Yo, C-130, are you getting a lot of feedback on your end? I feel like I'm hearing a lot of stuff in my ear.
That's why the market structure is so important.
All right, I don't know where he went. Does anybody have any questions? And if you guys could mute your mics, that'd be great.
I got one for you, Brad.
Yeah. Who's this?
This is Dyer.
What's up, man?
I don't know, since you're speaking on routine, do you have a routine?
I'm not trying to interrupt anyone. I'm gonna have to leave a little bit early. My wife got in a car accident, so I gotta go. Yeah. So I gotta go take care of that. Brad, I'm gonna leave it to you, okay, man?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Just...
Let me know how she is.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. The stream will stay running, so I'll just leave it running. It's all you, Brad. All right. Later, guys.
All right. Later.
Yeah, 'cause that's crazy. Anyway, the question was, since you were talking about routine, do you have a routine that you do after losing trade?
Yeah, sometimes. So typically, if I lose a trade, I always reevaluate the trade. Even after a winning trade, I pretty much do the same thing. So if I win a trade, I go back and see like, hey, was this the best entry? Should I have gotten in sooner? Could I have been more patient? Could I have been more aggressive? Where could I have been more aggressive from? And the same thing with a loser. Like, I reevaluate to see, why did I lose this trade? So yeah, I mean, it kind of. And then I also have a routine that if I lose 3 trades in a row, then I just shut my computer off. If I do lose a trade, typically I will like stand up at my desk and kind of like, stretch a little bit or like, touch my toes, like do something to try to like get my blood flowing, try to get that, try to like turn my brain back on to see, the big mistake I made. But the biggest thing for newer people that are trading or, really everybody, because a lot of professional traders will record themselves while they're trading, or they'll record their screen so they can see their mouse and see what they're doing while they're trading. And, a lot of us don't have that capability if you don't have like a stream deck and a huge hard drive to save all that crap on. So what you can do is write everything down, right? So like how I talk about the 4 reasons, like your 4 tires on your car, why you're taking this trade, you can write all of that stuff down. And then while you're in the trade, you're constantly reevaluating this trade. You can start crossing stuff out if stuff starts going away, or you can, start adding stuff like, and then at the end of that trade, you can reevaluate that trade, especially with Bitcoin, because not a lot of times do we get in and out of a trade and then there's another trade ready to go, right? Because we're not really in the business of, writing something up and then trying to write it down as well. We just are trying to collect our daily goal of points. So if we get it on one trade, or if we hit our daily loss limit on one trade, then we have that time right after the trade with trading crypto to reevaluate.
About $29,800. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Let's say that we come down here, we hit our low. Let's go back in time. Let's go back.
Yeah, it does. Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. I know I'm not the greatest. I'm not the greatest host. That's why we have C-130 around. But you know, hopefully his wife is all right. It's terrible.
What do you do? What if you want to?
Hi, Brad. Angelo speaking right now. I want to ask you something. How do you see this market in the near future, like 1 year, 2 years? Is it pretty promising, or what do you think?
With crypto, I really don't think it's going anywhere. As far as like the value.
Let's talk about it. So HP90 wants to know if it's still possible to join my Discord. Yes, it is. You go to patreon.com/G. I have not been as active in there recently because I just had a baby. There's a lot of things going on. So I've got a lot of work to do. Out.
I think Brad is muted. Is there any way to tell him that?
I sent him a message.
There's a possibility that if he's on his phone, he got a phone call or something and automatically did it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
For me personally, I've
Yeah.
been trading for several years now, and I have found that I journal, keep track, especially in the beginning. I find mistakes that I've made, keep track of them, find out why I made them. Was I impulsive? Did I, do some research beforehand? Was it emotional? Those are things that were really important to me in the beginning, to find out why I was making these mistakes, why I was having these losing trades.
So basically, you're talking about reviewing your methodology of entering and exiting the trades.
Yes. What methods was I using? Was I relying on technical analysis? Was I using the news? Was I, just kind of guessing? And, I found when I was, doing a lot of preparatory work and not just, going with the moment or, oh, someone said, I found my trades were a lot more successful that way.
Yeah, that's right.
And be consistent. If you're finding something that's working for you, be consistent with that. Don't just, kind of go back and forth. I know that this is, Brad's room is primarily focused on TPO, but for those of us that have used technical analysis in the past, stick with the same indicators that you're using. Don't flip-flop around, using different ones, because you're never going to get the same results if you're relying on different ones. Stick to the same ones. That way your outcomes tend to be a little more consistent.
You know what they say, what suits for you is the best, That's the best thing that you can do. Because some people, if you take the idea from some people, those ideas, they might don't resonate with you or something, You have to be in your way, You have to listen yourself, not the others. Yeah, having some ideas from the others is pretty helpful sometimes, but you have to stick with your own things, your own strategies, stuff like this. But obviously, you need to gain more experience. It's not just one, a while or something. You just have to get through a lot of experience to get to the conclusion, what's the best. That's my opinion.
Yeah, right. I think the main goal is being consistently profitable. Some people use technical analysis, some people use TPO, some people even use microsite. The main goal is being profitable. It doesn't matter how you do that. Yeah, Brad.
Yes.
Working,
I think he's deafened.
Is the voice working now? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear us.
I'm deafened.
You just noticed.
Oh. Okay. Woof. Finally. Holy shit. All right. I can hear you guys. Sorry about that, guys. I don't even know how that happened. I didn't even touch anything. So.
Well, Brad, regarding that question, how do you see the market in near future? Let's say, I don't know, 5, 10 years. This crypto space, yeah? How do you see?
So I do see. I don't know if do you guys hear anything that I said after you asked the question or no?
Don't think so.
Okay. So I think that the crypto market is not going anywhere, right? As far as it has gained a lot of traction, and it's really just gaining more traction. So I don't think it is going anywhere. As some of you guys know, I am pretty heavily invested in some of the smaller coins, like ETH is not really super small anymore, but Ethereum, XRP, XLM, VeChain, some of the other smaller coins that have a lot of utility to me. I kind of see them as like the Apples or the Googles as of the crypto space. It does seem like it is gaining some traction, right? We have a couple of countries, smaller countries, that are starting to push it to be backed as their currency, and then there is like India is trying to do something with it. It's one of my things I need to read into more today. But as far as like the value of it, it's so, to me, it's hard to estimate, just because there's a lot of people out there that think Bitcoin will go to 100,000 by September or 1 million within the next 10 years. So there's no way to know for sure, and I don't really try to estimate in the long term. I'm really just looking to understand what's happening in the market, today, tomorrow, this week, this month. But as far as like long-term projections, I don't think it's going anywhere, but I can't really tell you, what the value of it will be going forward.
I think we're going to see changes, a lot of changes in the future due to regulation. Governments are going to want to get their hands into this cookie jar, and they're not liking that it's becoming so decentralized, and they're unable to control a lot of this. So I do think that a lot of changes are on the forefront because of this, and I do think it's going to change our crypto markets significantly.
I agree. I 100% agree. I think that they will try to regulate it. I don't know if you guys know this. The U.S. government actually holds a huge quantity of Bitcoin, right? And I was talking to somebody yesterday that works at a firm out there in New York, and he was saying a lot of these firms are not really selling their Bitcoin because of the limited quality. As far as the other cryptos, yeah, they, that's kind of just like a kind of a gamble at this point because it's really like, it's kind of like these stocks. I don't know if you guys follow the stocks much, but when the C word first happened, there was a lot of smaller medical companies that were trying to develop a vaccine, and a lot of people putting a lot of money into them, and a lot of them went up, and a lot of them came back down. Some of them stayed up if they actually withheld, but that's just kind of it's just kind of a wait and see thing. But I do agree with you. I think that the government is fearful of what the world adoption of crypto can do to their ultimate goal, in my opinion, which is to be able to control. So
Well, I really don't think that they're fearful because I mean, the way I'm looking at it is the altcoins like Ethereum's proof of stake, which if there's a small number of people who can be corrupted, they will be corrupted.
always,
But
yeah.
Bitcoin isn't, right? And that's what I'm seeing. Like Bitcoin you'll never be buying coffee with Bitcoin, but the whole DeFi space on top of it, like the transaction network, there's always going to be the US dollar and there's always going to be US dollar tether. And that whole industry that's popping up is where a lot of money is going to be made, but that's going to be like I guess the way to look at it is what Michael Saylor was saying. This idea stuck with me. Bitcoin is the network, monetary network, just like the internet is a computer network. But on top of the internet, we had the web, the website bubble, the .com. Everybody got big. Everybody's making millions of dollars on websites, and then that bubble popped. I expect the DeFi system to pop, in the next couple of years. But behind that, Bitcoin as the monetary network is going to stay. And it's. I mean, countries like El Salvador are doing what they're doing, but not every country is going to do that. But it's going to. I think it's not going anywhere. It's always going to be a digital reserve asset, and then the whole ecosystem on top of it. That's where the volatility is going to be. And right now, I firmly believe Bitcoin's in price discovery. I'm one of the guys that's convinced it's going to be, in the six figures within the next 2 years, and possibly more after that. But nobody knows. It's not going anywhere, but nobody knows where it's going to end up, just because the power of it. That's because it's a network. It's not a thing. You see the new guys in the space are like, yeah, Bitcoin's old technology, get with the times, but they don't understand, in my view, they don't understand the reason for Bitcoin and like the slowness of Bitcoin, the energy consumption of Bitcoin. Those are features, not bugs. That's where the power is. That's why people are putting, billions of dollars into it. So sorry, I just had to get my little 2 cents in there. I'm the soapbox guy.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's what this community is all about, man. We're all about getting everyone's opinion out there. We just keep it respectful. That's the best thing about this community, because I've seen a couple of other discords where people are just kind of trash talking each other basically on everything. And that's one thing that's great about this community is we have such a big population from all over the world, and we don't really have to deal with anything like that. At least in my experience, we really haven't had to deal with much trash talking for each other's stuff. But I agree with you.
Being across the world, that's the main power of it. Like, for example, my wife's Peruvian, and we can't get her paperwork done to go back to Canada. So I'm in Peru. So when this lockdown hit, like, what I didn't realize living my whole life in Canada is there's almost 50% of Peruvians don't have a bank account. So they announced the lockdown. They said, okay, everybody has to stay home, but to help you, we're going to give you money. So what's the first thing everybody did when the lockdown hit? They all stood in line for 5-6 hours at the bank. Thousands and thousands of people all crammed together in the street trying to get their support from the government. And that problem I didn't realize, like, there's a lot of people in the world that don't have access to banking. They don't have access to financial anything. And that's, in my view, that's the single thing that's going to make Bitcoin never go away, because it solves that problem.
There are 4 billion. if you really want to know the numbers. There are 4 billion people who doesn't have access to bank account.
Yeah, that's just insane.
So that's insane.
Not just banking, but identification in general.
Yes. Also.
You know what's funny too is in my experience, a lot of Canadians are really they trade the U.S. markets really well because they don't live in the United States and they don't deal with all like the BS, and so they don't really have a bias when they trade the U.S. markets, and so normally they trade the U.S. markets pretty well because they're able to stay unbiased.
You know the guy Pompeo or Pompiliano or something like this. He said once that obviously Bitcoin being the first as an asset, the first technology from the world in terms of digital, I think is going to be revolutionary in the future. You know, it's like gold being discovered 5,000 years ago. You know, so makes sense as for Bitcoin to be the strongest and also to be very, very expensive in the future, you know, like maybe, you know, like the guy said earlier, 1 million it could be, you know, 500 minimum, yeah, 500,000. So in near future it could be, you know, 5-10 years, why not?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. It's just like you never know what it could be, so we just kind of try to prepare. That's the big thing is, you know, once especially once we start seeing a little bit more stabilization within Bitcoin, you're going to see a lot more people pile in. You know, you're going to start seeing it added to a lot of like 401ks and retirement funds, and you know, local pensions like teachers pensions, you know, law enforcement pensions, stuff like that. It'll start getting added to that portfolio, and you know, and that'll just cause like the exponential growth. Kind of like if any of you guys track the Nasdaq with Apple and Google, Microsoft, Tesla, like, you know, they just you know, people just started pouring into them, and since the C word happened, we've just been growing exponentially. And now, I mean, with Bitcoin was already going up, and I think we just hit a little bit of fear, had a decent pullback. Yeah, I mean, I could really see it just going, you know, either way. I definitely agree. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And then when I was saying about the power of them wanting to be in control, I'm not really saying in control of Bitcoin. I'm saying in control of the world, like the world power, you know, because that's, you know, with that technology, it's gonna help as far as who gets to maintain the power. And you know, it's kind of like you know, a pissing match between a lot of, you know, bigger countries on who gets to be in charge, basically.
There's a 401 company, it's called For Us All. They are now allowing you to purchase up to 5% of your portfolio in crypto through Coinbase. That's big news for those investing in their retirement plans. Can now, you know, put crypto in their portfolio.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's, you know, to me, it's not super surprising that that's happening.
I mean, also, I think we have to realize that the future, it's present as, you know, digital stuff. Each payment will be through, you know, digital assets, blah, blah, blah. So I think crypto is the deal. I mean, I wouldn't say something else. You know, the dollar is dropping, everything is dropping. So you might use XRP or you might use, I don't know, maybe VET, maybe some kind of assets to doing some transactions. If you look, for example, on ER Finance, it's very expensive asset, but that's, as I know, that's going to be used for different insurance company stuff. They're gonna insure your, I don't know, even your house or your car or everything. So that's going to be used just for insurance. Or Monero, for example, that's another one. Yeah, so many kind of. So I think this crypto market, from my point of view, is going to be maybe number one, or you know.
So that's the basically like the search for the golden ticket to figure out which one the banks are going to use. That's why I really like VeChain. If those of you guys haven't really looked up VeChain, so VeChain is used for food products, and a lot of people really like to know where all their food comes from. And if they were to partner up with Amazon, let's say with Amazon, opening up grocery stores, one thing that's needed for human survival, for most human survival, I won't say all of us, because some of us can hunt and fish and stuff, but most of us need to go to the grocery store. And if Amazon starts opening up all these grocery stores and everything is tracked, that way you can just basically pull your phone out and you'll see exactly where your food comes from. That's going to be a big thing with VeChain, maybe.
I used to work at Amazon seasonally, and this was in I believe it was Hazlet. It's in Texas, but they were already doing like on-site small grocery delivery. They had coolers, and there was a whole produce department already at the fulfillment center, and that was like 3-4 years ago already.
Yeah, and then depending upon where you live, I know in the Bay Area, Amazon has like a little store that you just go in, you just pull your phone out, and it has like attached to your Amazon card. You just fill up your cart, and it basically you just walk out. You're not having to wait in any lines. You don't even have to check out. It just knows what you put in. You just like scan it on your phone, and then that's it. So Amazon. That's the thing about Jeff Bezos is a lot of people don't like him because he just kind of spends a lot of money, but he is always looking to be one step ahead of everybody else as far as where everything's going. He's basically just getting himself into a little bit of everything, and then whatever doesn't work out, he just cuts it quick, and then focuses on the other thing. He's a pretty smart dude. But let's get off our soapbox, right? We had we got a little bit carried away. What I'd like to do today, is talk about our week, how we traded this week, how we managed risk this week, and what are some of I'd like to hear some of the good things that happened, and maybe some of the bad things if some bad things happened, and we can talk through them or try to see what we can do in order to help going forward. If anybody wants to share, you don't have to share, but
Brad, I can share.
Okay. Who's this?
Matt Flint or Grumpy.
Oh, what's up, Matt? Grumpy. What's up, man?
So I'm trying to get into the space to make a change, and I'm sharing this mostly just bring up for other people that might be in a similar situation. And I find it really I have a hard time finding the time because, like, as of right now, I'm working like 80, 90-hour weeks. So when I get back to the hotel and I'm away from home all the time, I'm about 6 hours away from the house right now. And I find it difficult sometimes to, I get to the hotel and I feel like I have a set amount of time where I can practice what I've been trying to learn. And maybe you could just speak to people like myself that may find themselves possibly taking trades that they shouldn't, or maybe take instead of like what I feel like I make mistakes sometimes. I should be taking the time just to get the screen time and maybe learn more about the platforms that I'm trying to use, rather than actually trying to make a trade or something like that. But just maybe just time budgeting. Whereas like you're not harvesting the crop that day, but maybe you're prepping the soil or planting the seed, so to speak.
Right. So yeah, you have that's a long work week too. So you get back to the hotel and you're probably pretty tired already. One thing that you guys can do, I think on TradingView there's a replay mode, so you can kind of like rewind time, like and if you rewind it back to the like the open of a session, that might be able to help because then you might be seeing some plays or some more volume. With the wanting to be in a trade, that's normal, especially when you're first starting this out. I mean, even now, for me, is like when I get on the computer, I expect to make a trade because it's my routine to make a trade every morning, right? And so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this trade, and it's taken a pretty decent amount of time to get to the point where I'm comfortable having a day. And I think 3 a.m. posted it the other day. He didn't take a trade the whole day because he didn't like any of the setups. And that day I traded and I got chopped up pretty decently. So it's just a matter of working on your psychology. The best thing you can do is just write it down. Like, so when you get on the computer, you're looking at it, say, this is what you're going to do if price comes to here, and this is what you're going to do if price comes to here. If you guys need some good like snippets of format, there is going to be something coming out within that TPO bootcamp, some actual like PDFs that you guys will be able to download and print out. But Chappie's, I think yesterday in the TPO room, was posting his like if then scenarios, and that was great, right? To put it on into the text. I do recommend writing it down because that's that develops that habit within your brain, right? And or you can type it into the to the computer if you use an Excel sheet. For me, I know myself, and I'll cheat. I'll delete that Excel sheet, or I'll like erase it or something like that. So I just like to write everything down in pen. That way it's there. So as far as like the
Like,
managing, oh sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. With something like this, Grumpy situation, would TPO be effective in swing trading for someone like him that maybe, doesn't have the time to sit and watch for scalp trades, that maybe swing trading with TPO would be more effective?
It can. It's the only thing is that it's such a, I mean, especially with the crypto space, because like just if you're swing trading and the trade is going your way and you're not at the computer, and then some news comes out or something like that, it's so affected by the news right now that it would just be, I mean, just a little bit more dangerous if you can put like a trailing stop. That way, like if it gets to a certain point, it moves your stop to a certain point. And then again, with swing trading, you're not going to want to use very high leverage. But really, I mean, really, the ultimate goal is just understanding the process, getting that screen time. That screen time really is probably the second most important thing behind your psychology. But understanding just how it happens, it's just human nature to be able to want to earn, right? That's just what we do, what we're kind of trained to do from birth, or from once our brain starts developing. We are told that if we want to be successful, we need to get an education, we need to get a job, we need to do this. And I mean, I don't know how it is in other countries, but this is how it is in the United States. That's how we measure success, is through money, unfortunately, in my opinion. But what the what really is going to make you successful in trading is consistency. And so you basically just got to train it out of your brain to understand it. And if it helps you, unplug your mouse while you're watching your chart and just write everything down. You could try. I don't really like to swing trade crypto, if I'm being honest. But I mean, if it works for you, you could definitely do it. I'm just not a huge fan of it, unless I'm in a trade. Like, so let's say I take a scalp trade, right? Or and I'm up like 500 points. Like the trade we did last night, I moved my stop and then I went to bed. And I got stopped out, but my stop was in profit. So I covered in profit, and something like that. So if you start a trade and you want to keep letting it go, then yeah, swing trade it. But just make sure you move that stop up into profit. So if it does get, if it does come back on you, you're still gonna wake up and your trade is gonna have finished positive.
Yeah, for me, part of the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is my end goal is to day trade and then only work certain storm events in my line of work. And so I did try the swing trading deal, and I just can't manage the trades during the day. My job is too critical. There'll be times where I have time to check my phone, and there'll be other times when we're working primary voltage, and I just can't touch my phone. And I was just getting chopped up bad with trying to swing trade, whether it's whether that be market conditions here lately. I know the market's been up and down, which is fine, but it wasn't in my limited experience, it wasn't friendly to a swing trader. But that's why I've really been trying to focus on the trades, just getting in, getting out, and just trying to make an income from it.
And I think you will be successful. Just keep putting in the time, and then since you're making a good income right now, you don't need the money. So just focus on soaking in all the information, soaking in all that screen time. Make those paper trades, whether you make them on a Bybit or Binance or TradingView, or even if you just write them down. Um, the thing is, when you do these paper trading, you have to hold yourself accountable. So, like, let's say you start an account with a set amount of money, and then you practice that account. Well, if you reset that account, you need to reset your time, right? So I recommend always to start on a simulator for at least 30 days. And if you are profitable or break even at the end of that 30 days, then try to trade some real cash. But if you're not, or if you just keep lying to yourself and resetting, say, I wouldn't really have done that. Well, that's the thing, is you did it though. So you're not developing good habits. And so if you have these bad habits on a simulator trade and you can't even take practice seriously, once you get in the real game, it's just going to be that much more different, because, you're going to have your cortisol levels rising. You're going to have, you're going to be sweating. You're going to have a little bit of adrenaline going, depending upon, how the trade is going. Either positive or negative will cause a rise in cortisol and adrenaline levels. But, it's if you can be remaining calm, or feel like you don't even care about the simulation trade, well, then you should be able to kill a sim, right? Like if I get on a sim trader, I can just kill it, because one, I know that I'm not going to be losing my own money, so it takes a little bit of the stress off, right? But also, I have like a will, or I guess like something inside my DNA, basically, that causes me not to want to lose, no matter what it is, right? I don't like to lose, at anything. If we're playing basketball, badminton, ping pong, football, soccer, like I don't really like to lose, and so I'm gonna give it my full effort, whether it's at practice or whether it's in the game. And that's one thing, I think that if you just keep pushing that, I think you'll be good.
One more question, and then I'll leave it to somebody else. I was actually going to reach out to you for whatever sim trading program we decide to use. What do you recommend as far as, I mean, like most of the sim traders just start you off with $100,000, and I know a lot of people, including myself in the Discord, don't have $100,000. Do you find it more advantageous to pick a starting balance that's more, even if it's slightly higher than what we would actually work with, but something more realistic? So, same kind of trade sizing and things like that, or do you there's just sim trading?
No, I agree. I think you should start with whatever you plan on your initial investment being. Try to start with that money. So if your initial investment is going to be $5,000, change it to 5,000. If your initial investment is going to be 25,000, then change it to 25,000. The thing that a lot of people do on the sim trade too is they overtrade, which can be can be brutal to an account for sure. But like I don't know if you guys saw the spreadsheet. I'm not on my computer today, but I'm gonna export that and send it out. I'll send it out like in a Google Docs, like a shared Google Docs, so we can all jump on there. And I can even set up so that chart is coded, so it updates automatically. So like if you guys set up your own little page, like if you copy paste the page, add your name on it, we can have however many pages if you guys want to track your days on there. we can totally do that. But it's $78 starting off, and then after 228 days, you're only looking to make $150, and you'll make 25 grand in a year. That can replace a big amount of income for a lot of people, and making that $78 in one day, shouldn't be taking you 8 hours. You could possibly be able to accomplish that in an hour or two. So that's that's just starting small, right? That's our building the consistency over a year's time, basically. And it's 228 days because that's how many days we have in the traditional market. Crypto we can trade every day if we wanted to, but that's just kind of like a Monday through Friday, excluding the holidays and stuff like that.
Thanks, Brad. And thanks to the whole community as a whole. I've chatted with some of you guys, and I see a lot of other conversations taking place, and I'm not in the Discord, like I said, because hours, but just it's a great place to be, and just thank you to everyone.
Thank you. Let me take a question from the YouTube. Flocky said, do you think volume profile is becoming more important than market profile in algorithmic trading the 24/5 markets? The volume profile is important, but the thing about volume profile that I kind of tend to tell people to shy away from, it's just telling you where the position is built. It's not telling you where that price is actually spending the most amount of time. So you can use them in combination with each other. But if I had to pick one tool to use, I would pick the TPO over the volume profile every day of the week. Using them together, right? That can give you a bit of a boost, which is why we use that delta profile and the volume profile when we're on exocharts. But using just the volume profile can kind of get you in a bind a lot, because it's just telling you where the people are buying at, not actually where price is being accepted at.
Hey man, I'd like to pick your brain if I can go next. So
Yeah, definitely.
I've got so here this is my situation. First, I'm terrible at math. I never passed a math course in high school. They had the tiered math where you start at the high level, and then the next year if you pass the lower level, then you get retroactive credits for the other one. So I'm the guy that went through all 4 years of high school and only passed like the end of the most remedial math course. But at the same time, I've had a career in IT for the last 25 years, writing computer programs, managing networks, and everybody tells me that I'm doing math, but I don't see it as math. So here's where I'm, my career evolved into managed IT stuff, right? So that's why I started traveling around. I got in my 40s, I started traveling around, and I met my wife here in Peru. And it wasn't really a big deal. I would, fly to Peru for a little, spend some time here, fly back to Canada, spend some time. But now the lockdown has changed my life dramatically. So the managed income, it's sort of a set income now because I'm not there to go out and generate new clients and, go do on-site consultations and stuff like that. So my income's gone from, a fairly substantial income to sort of minimum wage, I guess you'd say. And now with the political stuff, the things that Canada's doing, I effectively can't go home. So I'm trapped here in Peru, which is why I'm doing the push to get into trading. So I have that psychological pressure that's there now because I got the newborn baby. I'm in a different country, and I'm still supporting my mom back in Canada. And of course, we just had the new carbon tax, so all my expenses increased by like at least 10%. So I have that pressure. Now, the problem I have with TPO is I'm the guy that realized that it was a bell curve, right? So I'm at the point where, because I'm so terrible with numbers, like actual numbers, I know what I'm looking at, but I don't understand what I'm looking for. So I'm also following Trader's Reality, and I think like his whole idea of the vector candle, like the red and the green, where they're going to move the market up or down. I found direct correlation, where Tino says, okay, we're going to see a run down here because it's going to recover this vector candle. And at the same time, you'll put in the TPO chat, okay, guys, we're going to run these stops either up or down. And for the life of me, the problem I'm having is converting all those numbers and letters into a projection. Like I can look back at the TPO stuff and I can say, okay, there's the bell curve, there's the peak, there's the valley, there's the up, there's the down. And then I could see in hindsight where they ran it through, but and I don't know, maybe it's just that psychological pressure where I'm at, where I have to succeed at this, even though my goals are pretty small. I only want, if I can do, 3 1% trades a week, that's fine. I'm happy with that. So I have my little small account that I've got like $500 in, and I bang that every single time. And then my main account, which I haven't put a trade on the main account for, I don't know, a month and a half, because a 5% loss on that account is, almost catastrophic. So I guess I'm just looking for your input there, on the psychology, just like you did for the last guy in my position, and kind of, I don't know if you could just like run. I'm waiting for the dummy class for the TPO for like if I was your kid and I was 10 years old and he said, "Hey dad, I want to do what you do." Give me that rundown of it.
So that's coming. That's what the TPO boot camp is going to be all about. It's going to be kind of getting you on. That's interesting to hear your story too, because I was kind of the opposite. For me, I was always good at math, and I was terrible at English. Like I could write a paper if I had, spell check or something like that. But my grammar, my spelling, I've never really been great at spelling. Never, and then I never really practiced being good at spelling. I know a lot of words because I read a lot, but when it came to spelling and stuff, that's funny. But the math associated with IT, like writing code, and with the market, it is math, but it's kind of a different type of math. It's not like an algebra, geometry type of math. It's a fixed math, and so like you're almost incorporating these shapes into it, and just kind of making sense of it. That was a good spot by you. I was reluctant to tell people a bell curve because I wanted people to have that aha moment where they're like, "Holy shit, this is just a bell curve on its side," right? And so that was a great spot. I remember when you called that out. The biggest thing, is if you're able to go back and understand it, then that's just a matter of time before it starts clicking in real time. So I would just say, just be patient. It will start clicking. I do have a little playbook that once we start, which is like my personal playbook for the plays that I look for, and I call them out a lot of times in the chat. 176. Okay, thank you. And that's sorry, I lost my train of thought. We're talking about the playbook. So like the playbook I'll release for you guys as far as like things that you can look for. At midnight, actually yesterday when we were in the chat on that way down, he tried a fade trade. And a fade trade, for those of you guys that don't know, is just a quick scalp in the opposite direction of the trend, right? And the reason he tried it is because we had, I can't remember the letters, but let's just say A came down and B came down within one tick of A and then paused. And then he was looking for it to just bounce real quick so he could scalp it out. It didn't end up working, but it ended up working on the C candle. But that's one thing. He's got a decent amount of experience as well, and that's what he was looking for. But the key thing is just if you're understanding it, going back, then as you go forward, you'll start nailing it. No problem. You just got to give it some time. And then as far as like need or want to do it like right now, or wanting to be successful right now, try to set like a 30-day goal for yourself as far as focus on that paper trading. Or if you trade and your goal is to get that 1%, you're trading on that small account, just focus on being successful on that small account over and over throughout the week. And you don't need to up on leverage or anything like that. It is kind of shitty that's what's happening with Canada. I've been kind of tracking that. One of my buddies George lives up in Canada, and he's thinking about moving to Florida or maybe back to Bulgaria, because that's where he's from. But
Well, that's the big problem now, because now that I'm here in Peru, I don't want to go back to Canada. And my wife is like, "No, you said we were going to Canada." But that's the thing. It is just time. I mean, I've got a couple months. It's not like I'm freaking out here, every day. But it's sort of like the medium long term pressure is there, right? Like that's everything's staying afloat now, but it's not going to be staying afloat for long. And just like politically, like that's the thing. This is all politically driven, right? Like I don't know how many other Canadians there are here, but the current leadership there is not making very good economic decisions. So that's the killer. But yeah, I guess it takes time. That's the that's the thing, I guess. So thanks.
Hey guys,
and
good morning.
like I said, oh sorry, go ahead.
Hey, sorry if my audio sucks. Escudo, what do you do for work, man? I came in late, so I just heard the tail end of your story, man. What do you do for work?
Well, I started way back. I started back in 1998 doing dial-up internet access. So it evolved from dial-up internet access to computer repair, and then to network security, and then web hosting, email.
So kind of like an engineer in a way, right?
Yeah, yeah. If I had to label it, it'd be network engineer. That's the most complicated stuff I do. Is network stuff. So
I was talking about this on the chat the other night, man. People like doctors, nurses, lawyers, engineers, man. You guys are gonna have the hardest time trading because myself included. We're gonna think very logically, like A plus B equals C kind of thing, right?
Yeah, that's exactly the shit I run into. Like that's even like both. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. You got to make it. It sounds so stupid to say this, but the market is very easy, right? But you just have to let it happen and just see it for what it is, because like there's no gravity in the market. The market doesn't go up and come down. Like there's no opposite reaction for every equal reaction kind of thing. There's no laws of science here in the market, and pretty much the market just goes straight up for the most part, right? Like over time. So just don't think because the market shoots up has to come down kind of thing. And just let it play out, because like when you're trying to predict it, when you're trying to use things like this, that's why like you can't trade it off the algorithm. That's why you can't trade off like all these other things, because like market is just like it's like a living thing, right? But it has no rules really. I mean, there's some rules to it, but it doesn't have to go up just because it goes down, and vice versa. It's like this. So like, don't try and analyze it. Don't just
That's a really good point. That might be exactly what my problem. Because like I'm terrible with people. I am awful with people. Like the people that I count as friends is on one hand, but computers do what they're told. That's the thing, right?
Exactly.
and maybe that's exactly why I'm having trouble projecting. Like I can see it and understand it in the past, but to go forward, man, it kills me.
Yeah, because when you got spread, man, my favorite thing is the short. I love shorting the market. It's just the fastest trades you can have pretty much. And every time we're going up on a good run day, like a good bull run day on the ES, I'm like, oh, dude, this is a good day to short. And it's like I get caught just shorting just because the market's going up, but I'm not sitting there reading and watching sometimes like what's going on. I just get like my psychology and like flips the switch and it goes, oh, just short, But just because the market goes up, it doesn't have to go down. Like I said, like you can see RSI oversold for a month straight. Like we know Market Mike that's sold stocks before. He's also from Canada too. And he's sold the stock, RSI, left it there for months, over 90 or 80 or whatever it is, and never came down. Like, that can really screw you up if you're trying to trade off numbers. Don't trade off numbers, except for that TPO profile. Like, you need to know like where the volume and stuff is at. That's why we don't use indicators, because they're just for confusion. They're just background noise, So that's why we're trying to pull everyone away from indicators, because like from our experience, they just don't work, So yeah, I heard your story and I was just like, he sounds a little bit like me. So I just want to tap in real quick, man. But yeah, so just stop over analyzing things, man. That's your big problem right there. And then take the pressure off yourself and just watch, watch.
And then also, James, I got a couple people asking about the
Sorry, you cut out, man. What did you say?
You said the class is going to be July 5th. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so TPO Bootcamp, you guys, launch date is July 5th. So for those of you guys, I see some people in here that have familiar names. I see like Cy Worker in here, and Chappies and Caesar, and you guys are here. You guys are here the other night when I was talking, Dan. Who else is in here? Jumbo. Sorry, guys, I just woke up. It's 4:40 in the morning for me. I just woke up randomly. So my voice sounds like shit. Crypto chemist, what's going on, man? You guys? Yeah. And Sarah, I see in here too. So we'll go over pricing real quick. So this is what we decided, you guys, as a team. So price could be 149 for you guys. If you guys were originally from, Citadel Rick, so you guys are the first 1,000, and we're trying to see if there's a way to figure out, who joined first. But if not, it's just gonna be compiled as the first 1,000. You guys gonna get the first, you guys basically get first booking for the classes, and you'll pay 149. Okay. If you guys are also military veterans, doesn't matter, or also active duty. If you guys are, serving in the U.S., serving from another country, doesn't matter. 129 for you guys, okay? Like, we are the trade vets, and we, thank you guys for your service. Doesn't matter where you guys gave service to, okay? We know it's a difficult thing to do. If you guys are just joining us now, you guys came in, maybe just joined for a YouTube stream, or if you came from another room before, or just bought an indicator, doesn't work, so price will be 199 for you guys. If you guys haven't done so already, go like us on Instagram to get that 149 price. That 149 price, like I said, you'll get the price, but the people out here, the first 1,000 in the Discord, are the only people that get to sign up first. So, just because you get the 149 doesn't mean you get to go first or anything like that. Or even if you pay 199, okay, you can't pay more just to come to class early. So we like to reward, loyalty. We're all about family and things like that. You guys are a family, so 149 for everyone is the first, first 1,000. Also, too, I don't know, C130 or Brad brought it up. We got, some posts going over on Instagram. I've got some feedback. It's only one or two of you guys, not in the room, just in general, saying, hey, making fun of Market Cypher or making fun of indicators. It's very light humor, guys, but it's very light truth too. Okay. If I could just, literally shove a pill down your throat and say, hey, this is TPO, or hey, this is, the way the market works, I would, do it to every single one of you guys, because I honestly believe this is 100% the truth, and this is the way to see things and the way to do things. All right. I would never force feed. I would never sell you guys anything that I don't use myself, or I don't believe in, because that's just not the kind of person I am. So if you guys go overhead, get us 100 likes on each photo. There's 3 new ones. We'll open up 2 more seats in the raffle class, and we'll just pick from whoever liked that post. If you guys get it to 200, we'll add 3 more seats for those other 100 likes. So if you get to 300 and so on, we'll just add more seats. So just go ahead and like those photos, you guys. You guys have until Monday morning. We'll get more people in the raffle class. The raffle class, like I said, is going to touch up more about what Brad has for his future curriculum in this program. And then TPO Bootcamp is what we want to start first, though, because it's just a very easy way to see and read the markets for you guys, especially if you just want a good trade a day. You can't just get a stop run trade, right? Or you get a single print trade or something like that, right? Because those are just some pretty decent setups to get in, and without having to know too much market structure. All right. So I don't think you guys have any other questions, or if I didn't answer everything, but Brad, just let me know.
Yeah, no, you did.
I just want to pop in and say,
my bad.
Does anyone have any questions about the classes, you guys, or the raffle, or anything else?
Midnight, where do we sign up for it? For the TPO boot camp, when does that process start? When we can sign up and pay? And
yeah, no problem. So the website's coming soon, so we'll have a place to go through there. We got a guy work on the website. If we don't have a website launch in time, I'll probably just open up to a special channel, the first 1,000, and we'll just say, at everyone, hey, here is the channel. Put your names down. First person to put their name down is going to be the first order. And then we will just contact you guys somehow for payment, whether it's through Venmo or through PayPal, or we'll set up a crypto wallet if you guys want to pay crypto. But like we were saying before on the chat, if you guys are going to pay a crypto wallet, unfortunately, I have to charge you a little bit higher price. I mean, because just crypto changes so often, unless you want to pay in US Tether or something like that, where it's a 1-for-1, but we'll take any denomination, obviously, of funds, because usually we can just process through a credit card. We can do a Venmo account, if that's easier for some of y'all, or a PayPal, or if you guys have the banking app Zelle. I know it's kind of popular now, but if you guys want to pay in crypto, because I know there's some people that are just 100% crypto, just the conversion rate will be a little bit high if you're going to go from a coin to dollar. But if you want to come dollar token, C130 can handle the conversion rates, because I'm not too up to date with the crypto and stuff like that. And also too, once you guys learn this stuff, there's other markets, you guys, if you guys are in a different time zone, if you guys have to go to work at a certain time, like if you can't trade crypto, try and trade the ES. Like, just put both markets up at the same time. It's like, if you take the name away from what you're trading, TPO will work on everything, you guys. It's insane. That's why Brad and I are able to come in here and just call out plays all day long. Because like I've said before in the stream, like crypto was, before just like kind of like a domain run by amateurs, right? I'm not knocking anybody. And that's why indicators and moving averages and MACDs work so well, right? It's too easy because like an amateur uses amateur tools, right? So now this game has been infiltrated by professionals within the last year or less, and they use professional tools. And guess what? Indicators are not part of professional tools, all right? And like I said before, if someone else had an indicator out there or an algorithm and it worked, it wouldn't be for sale, okay? Because why would someone give that up? Why would they want a million people out there buying their, thing for $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, even $10,000, right? When they have a money printer, a legal money printer on the computer, right? So don't fall for these traps of indicators and all that kind of stuff. Yes, you're going to see sometimes like a green dot or a red dot or a good crossover or whatever the case is on any indicator when there's momentum, right? But how often is there momentum in these markets where, it's actually right? Okay, especially when now you guys are, trading against real market makers, real people with money, and they know how to work a market. Okay, they know how to get your psychology up, saying, "Oh, this is a bull run," or "Oh, this is a bear run. This is a short. This is a long," and then just reverse on you in a split second. And then do what they wanted to in the first place. Like, we're gonna teach you guys market psychology, how to read the markets, all that stuff. But this TPO bootcamp, it's really the easiest way to read the markets, you guys. And like, I've been training for just a couple of years now. Brad's been training for a lot longer. But we kind of found TPO around the same time, and it's a game changer. It really is. And then also too, once you guys understand like the real theory of supply and demand and how market works and how market maker works and how wholesale works and all this other stuff, like there's all these principles you guys haven't learned about a market, and that's what you need to know. Like, no one needs to know about a bull flag or a bear flag. Like, patterns are there just to confuse you. Sometimes they play out, right? Because sometimes they do. Sometimes things just work out that way. But, if you went up to a stock trader or whatever, they'd be like, a bull flag, that doesn't matter, right? Price matters, volume matters, things like that matter, right? And so that's what TPO shows you. That's what order flow shows you. That's what footprint shows you. And so that's the stuff you guys really need to learn. You have to like use professional tools if you want to play with professionals, right? Like if you guys were, if you guys drove for NASCAR or something like that, right? And you guys want to be like the guy that changed the tire, you're gonna go out there like you're a Craftsman wrench that you buy from Home Depot or something like that to change the tire or the drill. No, you're gonna use like Snap-on or whoever the most professional tool is that gets the fastest, most reliable thing to do the job, right? So if you guys are trying to play with professionals, you have to learn and trade like a professional. You can't use these amateur tools anymore, right? And like I said, this is just the beginning too for Bitcoin and for all other altcoins and things like that. You guys think it's bad now? Wait till time goes on. It's probably gonna get worse. Okay, especially if we have like any official regulation from the markets or SEC or the government steps in. It's just gonna get progressively worse to trade, and you guys are gonna have a very difficult time. So I'm not trying to make you guys upset or anything like that. I'm just trying to give you guys the most honest truth I can. So that is like that sometimes the truth isn't a hard pill to swallow, you guys. We joke around about the red pill and all this other stuff, but like we're always just kind of trying to tie everything in a light way. Okay, like this is the matrix in a way, but it's a very easy matrix to read. Don't let the letters confuse you. It's just a bar. If someone said, "Hey, this is a green bar," that means an up bar. Hey, this red bar means a down bar. That's kind of true, but not every red bar is a down bar too. That could be like a lot of buyers coming through with support. So just like, try not to think it's a letter. Just think it's a bar if that helps you out too, okay? And when we get in the TPO bootcamp class, we can, help you guys out a lot better, all right? So I'm just going to give it back to Brad. But, if you guys have questions about the class or anything, like that, just DM me, okay?
All right. Thank you, 3 a.m. Yeah, so there's all the details that you guys were looking for as far as how the course is going to go. Let's get back to what we were talking about. What other, success stories or, some pitfalls that you guys are having that we can kind of go over to help you. And if it sounds a little bit noisy, sorry, I'm out getting the donuts, so. Anybody want to share?
That was some good information. I just wanted to say thanks for what you guys are doing. Dude, I mean, this has been just very informative, and I mean, that was some solid info right there.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're
Great
trying to give you guys good info,
always
you
coming
know.
through.
So if you guys speak up, you know, like I said on the stream, we don't care if you guys have an accent, if you guys got a lisp or whatever. Just say hi, say hello, ask your questions. You know, don't be shy. We're here to answer and help you guys out. Okay, so you know, unmute those mics if you guys got questions.
Just to add to what you guys were saying, it's cool to hear an actual explanation for what's going on, because I started with Market Cipher back in February and I was ridiculously successful until it wasn't successful anymore. And so it's interesting hearing, you know, like you guys were saying, amateur traders trade with amateur tools, and when the professionals come in, it's all just a joke. So it's cool now in hindsight being able to see like where the transition happened and where the actual market makers got in. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for that. It's kind of cool in hindsight.
No, you're very welcome. And like, yeah, it is cool because I mean, like, you know, this is stuff too that I didn't know for a while either. I thought things just went up to go up, right? But once you learn supply and demand, and we'll teach you guys all this kind of stuff and you know about the markets. But yeah, it makes more sense now.
And it's kind of like the analogy that 3AM and I always use. No, thank you. When I first came, you know, over to the crypto space, thank you. When C130 was, you know, telling me that he was trying to learn how to trade crypto, I felt like Billy Madison when he plays dodgeball against the first graders, right? You know, my trades were all going well. I was just easily, you know, hitting all these trades, and it was just, you know, it was just because people were looking for, you know, these specific things, or kind of overwhelming themselves with so much information. You know, when you guys look at time frames, and I tell people, you know, there's nothing wrong with looking at multiple time frames for confirmation, but when you're looking at time frames that don't add into each other, it doesn't make sense, because that's not what professional traders do, right? Market makers are trading on a 30-minute chart. That's a fact. That's why we like to use the 30-minute chart. You know, you have some momentum traders that trade momentum stocks or things that have momentum on, you know, a 5-minute chart and a 15-minute chart. But when you're talking about, you know, like the meme said, 24 and 4, or was it 4 and 24? I don't even, whatever it was. You know, it's just, to me, it's like, or like, you know, I see a lot of people using like a 7 and 11, right? Are they using it because it rhymes, or like, you know, what's the correlation between these two charts, right? So if you take a 5-minute chart, you know, it adds into a 15-minute chart, but you know, 7 doesn't add into 11, and you know, it just is very interesting to me as far as, you know, how people are coming up with these things. And you know, it makes sense because it's just a marketing tool, because they're like, hey, look at this, it's shiny. And you know, just human nature, like I talked about yesterday, is to you know, is to get shiny shit, right? That's why people have, you know, Rolexes and gold watches and you know, blinged out necklaces and stuff like that, because they want other people to know that, you know, they've got these things, right? And so you know, it's pretty interesting as far as like us, you know, me actually looking into the crypto space, and 3AM as well. We've just kind of been, you know, having a laugh, and you know, we might be poking. Well, you know, it's mostly 3AM. I kind of tend to just, you know, not really focus on it, but it is interesting. And then the whole division between Crypto Face and myself came from you guys during a stream. We were streaming, and I said, "Hey, we're gonna go short here," and everyone said, "No, no, 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 no. Crypto Face is going long. We need to go long." Right? You know, he ended up, you know, streaming his, you know, huge loss of 300K or something like that. 1 second, guys. Gotta get a coffee for the in-law. But if anyone else wants to share, you know, we've got, you know, definitely speak up. Any issues, or if even if you just want to share your success story and kind of,
Order ready.
Can I have a large black coffee?
Okay.
That's it.
So it'll be 107.
Thanks. If anyone wants to share at all.
Yeah, Brad, it's Caesar. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm up.
Hey.
Man?
How you guys doing? First of all, I wanted to thank your work. Really appreciate that you guys are sharing all this insightful info with other people for free, and it's really appreciated. And I wanted to ask what's the general way on your method to do back testing, because in ExoCharts I just got the subscription. And I didn't find any way to do back testing or going back in the past or replaying the data to see what happened and what will happen based on what happened.
So with ExoCharts, you pretty much just have to scroll back. You're talking about long-term investing?
No. I'm talking. I'm mostly a scalper, and I look for scalping 30 minutes in, 1 hour in mostly. Okay, but what I mean is my approach, when I want to find an edge for the said condition of markets, I usually try to find different sets of these conditions of markets in the past, and I try to apply my rules in order to see how good or bad it was, how much drawdown I had, to understand how much risk I want to have. And I really like your method. It seems really interesting, and it also goes in complement with the way I understand the market. So I wanted to do some. What will happen in March if I did this and this with the market structure and seeing the price, sorry, my English is really bad. The volume action by price level instead of by time, which is really nice. So that's my example. How can I check in the past? How can I see the past of this?
With ExoCharts, I'm not really sure if you can do it, which is why we're working on developing this indicator for TradingView. That way you can kind of go back in time and kind of see how it is. As far as kind of looking back at the charts, if you look back at the charts, look back at the and then kind of use that well, I guess there's no tools. ExoCharts really needs to get their shit together when it comes to drawing tools, but try to find these areas of consolidation and basically just look at the price and how it's reacting in this area of consolidation and what it's doing, and then kind of develop your interpretation from there. And then the market is always pretty much doing the same thing, right? Because market makers are always doing the same thing. So if you can start to notice these patterns in the past and notice how where the price is taken, and if you zoom out and you use the new template that I put out yesterday, I put the bell curve back on in the colors, that way you can see it. You can see where the market maker is I don't know, developing, basically gathering their price or building their position, and then how they move it to a new position. And so the TPO is a scalper's paradise.
Yes, I really like it.
Especially on Bitcoin, because and on ETH too. It would be interesting. One thing I've been kind of talking to 3AM about is developing an algo that when I place my trades on Bitcoin, it places the same trades in relative positions on ETH, because they pretty much trade exactly the same, and you could almost double your money. You're also doubling your risk, but you could trade the two markets at the same time. You would just have to manually adjust stops and everything, but it could at least make the order itself. So.
Yeah, I'm collabing. I don't know if you know Super Algos, which is an upper source community of algorithms of trading. You guys so really look into it if you know a little bit of coding. And you can do this of doing paired orders really easily. You can also look at correlation. For example, if they have a little bit of negative correlation, maybe it might be more interesting because you have more percentage point of growth or decay depending on the side you're looking for. So definitely have a look into it. And my other question is the colors, for example, that you put in the new chart that you posted yesterday. the colors of like the market structure, I guess like it's a kind of volume thing. They say something. Are they just sequential or?
The colors don't mean anything. They're just the colors that I put on there. That's it. You could change them to whatever color that you like. I know when we did a stream one time when I was streaming with my Ninja Trader, a lot of people didn't like the green background because it was hard to see, so I changed it to black for you guys. And you can do the same thing with those colors as well. You could change them to whatever color is more neutral. You could change the color of the letters as well. I do have a video that when we release the TPO bootcamp, I should be finished with it. It just has to get edited, and I'm not really a big editor person. I'm more just focused on teaching. So C130 is gonna edit that video down to make it nice and less confusing and perfect for you guys to navigate that Exo charts easily.
And the last question I have.
About,
oh, sorry. Do I say my question then, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, perfect. The last question I have is like in the live moment when you're in a trade, for example, you're going for like a stop run, the candle is growing. Usually what I look at in my normal trading is like the liquidations at this moment, right? If a lot of liquidation build up, I usually close the position because that means like the stop run, it's like the mean of it is over because it cuts the liquidity. But here on TPO, where you don't use liquidity, what you look at, like you look at delta at the top, you look at like if there is a lot of positive at the bottom that indicates like interest at the beginning of this candle. What's like the key at the moment that the stop run is being run, you're there. What you look at to think if it's going to continue being up or you close the position at the supposed to be top.
So what I like to do is I like to sell into strength. So as we approach, like if I'm in a trade and we're approaching the bottom of a candle where I know the stops are sitting, I like to take a little bit of risk off right there because just in case they defend the position and we don't run the stops. But then if we do run the stops, what I pay attention to is not really the delta or anything like that. It's how the price acts from that impulse area. So from the bottom of that previous candle or a couple ticks below, wherever wherever the stops really pushed through, that's where I look to see if buyers or sellers are going to defend on that way down or up to see if I want to stay in the position or if I want to close it. If I see strong buying that pushes right back past the impulse, that just means that let's say we're on the way down. That just means that buyers pulled their bids, let the sellers push through some people's stops, and they bought it all up, and now they're going to run the price up. And so that to me is a sign, okay, I'm just going to take my profit right here and be happy with that.
Perfect, bro. Big thanks for the info.
So you also mentioned too, it is liquidity. So just because we don't call it a certain thing, you guys, when we're watching it, you have to have volume, right, to have price action. So everything is liquid, you guys, and those stop runs are the biggest liquidity there is, right? Because those are just orders sitting there that are saying, hey, this is where we want to get taken out at, and so that's liquidity, right? It doesn't have to be a huge order sitting up there or anything like that, And then for you guys too that think that market makers know where your stop losses are, they don't. Okay, so once you guys put in an order and you guys put in a limit order, they don't know what that order is. They don't know if that order is a new buy or a new sell or whatever the case is, right? So don't get into this notion thinking that the market maker screwed me over. Like just because they're there, like that's their job, that's their business. They also take a lot of risk on too, you guys, because they sit there and make that trade, doesn't mean that they're gonna make their money back right then and there too, right? They have to build a position sometimes too. Like they may not just get paid on that spread right there. They may have to build that position up later. So the market maker does not know market maker doesn't know where your guys' stops are at.
Hold on a second.
I think Caesar had a question as well. I don't know if we got to it. You there, Caesar?
Yeah, man. Yeah, like you were talking about yesterday about being risk adverse, and me being the same, being intolerant towards risk. What I do is, as as soon as my trade turns green, I set my stop loss to break even, and most of the time it happens that I get hit and the trade plays out. So question is regarding to the psychology behind it, behind being how much degree I have to be risk intolerant and being giving the trade a breathing room.
Hey, Brad, can I
Oh,
get this real quick, man?
oh yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Hey, guys, stop trading. Okay, stop trading, please. I get in here every time I tell you guys to stop trading. It's not because I hate you guys and I don't want you guys to make money. It's because I actually like you guys, and I don't want you guys to blow up your accounts and screw up your psychology anymore. Okay, so Caesar, like that happens a lot. The other day we were trading live, right, on Friday, and normally I'm the other way around, right? And normally I would just leave a huge stop loss that's like multiple candles down or multiple time frames down or up or whatever, and I just I'm rolling the dice on my profits, right, or on my account, and we're trading on Friday, and so had a trade and goes on a profit. I moved it one tick into profit. So I didn't leave it at break even. I moved it one tick into profit, right? So in case, it closed out, it covers my fees for the trade, maybe make a couple bucks, but, covers my fees for the trade. So better than break even, right? So next time push yours just a little bit, just one tick. So you get that, you get that trade that's, at least covers your fees for the trade. But the thing is, like, it's going to happen a lot, right? Because the thing is, though, things will work out, but we want things that will happen fast. We don't want things that happen slowly. So, and that's going to affect your psychology a little bit, like, when it happens, but just think about it. There's not just one trade a day. There's a million trades a day. Okay. And we want to trade when there's market, when there's good volume and all that kind of stuff, but don't sit there and think like, oh, I just lost out. Let me do it again. Let me do it again. Cause like, that's how you're gonna get into like these very bad trades, these over leveraged trades, these like too big of a trade, because you're gonna be like, well, it happened again. It happened before. Just like how an indicator works. You'd be like, oh, I just missed that green dot. I missed that red dot. Let me get into it again with size. And that's how you guys blow up some of these accounts, right? So just because you got stopped out, that's okay. You've already predetermined your risk and your loss and all stuff before you enter the trade. You enter the trade, you followed your plan, right? Just like Brad says, you followed your plan. Always follow your plan, because once you deviate from your plan, that's when bad things happen. That's when your accounts get blown up. That's when you guys start anger trading and things like that. So just stick to your plan, okay? But like I said, stop trading, you guys. Stop trading. If you guys haven't learned yet, and you're trying to want to learn the boot camp, wait till the boot camp's over, release the trade. Okay, it's only like 2 or 3 weeks from now.
Okay.
All right. And if you guys don't make it in the very first class, wait till the second class. But if there's so much class, if there's so many people that want to take a class right off the bat, then I might work Bitcoin Brad to death, you guys. Okay, we might have to do 3 or 4 classes a day, or like 2 or 3 classes, a week session or something like that. So, I might just have to work him to death, honestly, because this boot camp is the most important thing that we can do for you guys. Because like, we see you guys on the stream. I see you guys in TPO Bitcoin. I think I got to Ski Boy a little bit. I saw him writing some stuff saying, "Hey, Saint 3M says not to trade," and I'm just gonna sit here and watch the fights and hang out with my family over the weekend. That's the best thing I've ever read, you guys, in that TPO discussion ever. Like, that's the best comment I read, because like, at least I know you guys are listening. If I can just get to one of you guys to not trade, then I've kind of done my job, right? But I need to get through to all 1,400 of you not to trade. All right, so just give it a month, give it 2 months. Like I said, the market's not going anywhere, right? You guys can get rich in 2 months, just the same as you can get rich or lose all your money today or tomorrow. Stop trading. Like, really, just stop trading, because if you don't take a trade, you can't lose. All right. So just chill out, hang out for a while, watch the price action, leave some money in your account, and then if there's a good trade while Brad's streaming or calls out a play, then maybe take that trade, because like, then there's a little more background to it, right? Don't just take these trades in the middle of the night where there's no volume and the weekend and also that kind of stuff. Just hang out, relax, learn a little bit something, just read a book, listen to a book about market psychology. If you guys have to be in depth in the market, put your thing on, but just watch it. Don't sit on your computer with the mouse in your hand ready to click the trigger, right, and pull the trigger on the buy or the sell. Just hang out, relax, because like in 2 or 3 weeks when you guys get into the class, this will all make sense, or at least make better sense, and you guys at least have a better footing. So it's like, at least you guys won't be having a gun with like just blanks. At least you have a little bit of ammo in your gun right now. And then, once you guys get some ammo, then we'll work on your marksmanship a little bit. Okay. So then we'll fine tune things. All right. So just, right now you guys are kind of just shooting blanks here. Right. And, just stop real quick, because you guys aren't doing too much damage except to yourself. All right. So that'd be my advice, man. Just stop trading. That's the best thing you guys can do, is just stop trading if you're not comfortable, and if you don't have a strategy that works. And if your strategy is like the the indicator and all this other crossovers and all stuff, then it's not going to work because you guys are here listening. You guys are here trying to get info, right? So just stop trading. That's my best advice for you guys. And like, it's okay to get stopped out of a trade. It really is. Like, like, why do you think all those stop runs happen, right? Because market makers and people that have big money, they've put those stops there because they've already gone into profit, or they know that they don't want to take any more loss than what's there, right? So it's not a thing that amateurs use too often, a stop loss, and that's why the count just goes from this number to 0 because they didn't manage the risk, right?
And then let me just add on to that real quick, for Caesar. So that it's going to come with time, like 3 a.m. saying. That's why he's kind of telling you not to trade. That way you're going to become more comfortable with what you're seeing in the market. That's going to give you the confidence to let a trade work out, right? Because I was the same way, where as soon as I got green, I was like, all right, done, close it, and then the whole trade would work out, and I would have stuck to my trade plan. The trade plan worked out, but I took a tiny little profit because I didn't want to lose, right? You have to understand that every trade that you take is a 50-50 shot, right? There's no way for anybody to actually know what's going to happen. So you have to understand, and it's good to develop that into your psychology, that you will lose trades. It will happen. So, as you get more confident, as you get more screen time, you will be able to sit in that trade and not move your stop up, right there to break even, and then get stopped out right before the move happens over time. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Anybody else just close their broker window?
What, buddy?
I got a question for you guys.
174. Okay, write it down in the book. Go ahead. Sorry.
This because there's a lot of talk about market makers, and I noticed. I mean, I started in November was when I decided I didn't know anything about trading, nothing, and I thought I need a new career. This is what I'm going to learn. So, and I noticed, it was about mid to late February, maybe beginning of March, where everything changed. Like I was getting in, getting out. I was making profits. I was still overall losing, but I had a lot more winning trades than I did. So now both you guys and Traders Reality, I mean, you guys say the exact same thing. It's not my intention to compare different methods here because you guys you've got different methods, but you're going after the same people, the market makers, right? So and you were just talking about that where, the quote unquote big money is coming in. So one thing that Traders Reality really harps on, and I just want to get your guys' input on it, is when the market's open. I mean, he says the same thing, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, don't trade because there's no volume because the big guys are out. And I've noticed when, I'll be up late at night. It'll be like 11:30, 12 o'clock here. I'm UTC -5 time zone. I think, okay, screw it. This isn't going to happen. I got to go to bed. I wake up in the morning and I can see 1 a.m. there was a big move up or a big move down. And then I started to look and see, yeah, that's when the Asian market opened. So do you guys take that into account when you're looking at the market structure? New York's going to open in 30 minutes, Asia's going to open in 30 minutes, or do you guys, only look at the order book?
So I'll hit that one real quick. So we only trade the New York Open, and the reason why is because that's when the most trading happens. Okay, the world follows the United States, you guys, in more ways than one, right? And I'm not saying we're the best at anything here, by all means, but when it comes to pop culture, follows the U.S. When it comes to the foreign economy, follows the U.S. So like, what is the backup? What's the backup currency of the whole world? It's the dollar, right? So you want to trade when there's the best volume. The best volume is when the New York Stock Exchange opens, okay, and that's 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so if you don't have a job, if you guys aren't working, if you guys are able to in a trade at that time, that first hour or two is the best time for anybody to trade. Okay, if you guys aren't able to trade that New York session open, trade another market open. Okay, if it's the London market open, the Nikkei or the China, or if you guys recognize that those things happen, because like what it is just like we're talking about consistency. Trade the same market. Don't jump from market to market to market. Right? Each market has their own little differences. Okay. So like when the Eurex, the FDAX, or the European markets close right around the same time that the American markets are, just in the middle of the day, there will be more volume fluctuation too, because like, sometimes we will play off the European markets and how they open. If they had a strong open, we might have a strong open, especially if it's like good world news and things like that. So stay to one market timing. So like, if you guys want to trade with us, we're going to trade the New York more often. But when we have the live trade room, we'll try and center the live trade room, around opens of the markets or closes of the markets, okay? Because that's when you have your most volume. You always have the most volume in the first hour and the last hour of the day, okay? If you guys look at any chart, any market, it'll just peak up in the morning, it'll drop off, and it'll peak back up at the end of the day. That's just how they all work. And what Traders Reality is saying about the weekends, especially in the summertime, people that have money, they're going on vacation. They're leaving their New York Stock Exchange. They're leaving the city. They're going into the Hamptons. They're going to the Jersey Shore. They're going to the, Poconos. They're going wherever to get out and relax, okay? They're not staying there to trade. The only people that are trading over the weekend are the people that are amateurs, the people that didn't make any money, and the people maybe their boss hates them and they can't take a vacation because they're brand new, okay? Most people are done trading by Thursday because guess what Friday is? Give back profits day, or it's trading for the desperate. We'll trade on the weekend. We'll trade on a Friday or Monday, but it's when we see good trades. Okay, we don't force the trade anymore. Okay, used to, like I was telling you guys yesterday, when I had to go to work 7 in the morning, I'd wake up at 3 in the morning to trade. I'd be forcing my trade, and I think someone else there, side worker, not to call you out, man. He was saying he only has a couple hours a day to trade too, and he was just forcing trades. Don't force yourself to trade. Just because you only have 2 hours doesn't mean you have to take trade at 2 hours. Okay, it might just be a day to watch. So, trade the time when there is volume. And, that's not hard to find out because you just look at the chart and go, this time has volume every day, this time has volume every day, this time has volume every day. And those are the patterns that we want, And you can also tell too, like there was this many contracts traded last month. This was the average for Apple yesterday. This is the average for, Bitcoin today. So pick the days when there's the most volume. And it's funny that, you bring up Traders Reality because I honestly have maybe watched just one podcast from a recommendation from Long and Short when he told me to get on there. But, that's a nice thing. There's confirmation that, what we're saying is, the same as everything else. Like, I don't know what a vector candle is, and I don't know what these other candles are. But, I don't look at a candlestick anymore just because TPO has changed up completely, So, there's nothing wrong with the candle chart. I have one on my screen too, but it's just to have a bigger picture of the market because these TPO profiles take up a huge part of your screen. And so then I just leave a VWAP over there on the candlestick, and then that's all I have, basically. But we're gonna teach you guys everything that we know.
Yeah, what he does, like what I've sussed out that he does is his vector candles, like what he calls vector candles, they turn red or they turn green, and they're liquidity, and it's exactly what you guys say when you're talking about the market structure. Like this red candle is the market makers are basically setting up their longs, like the price is going down, but what's actually happening is the market makers are putting in their longs, and then it goes down. So when you see a red vector candle, you can expect that candle's going to be recovered. And he uses it. It's just a way for him to mark out where the liquidity is, so he can project, when that liquidity is going to be recovered. And I've been following him and following you guys, and you guys are bang on. You're call for call. You're doing the exact same thing with a different way.
That's good to hear. There's confirmation. We know what we're doing is right, but that's great that we're having a third party come out and say oh yeah, I've seen it here and I've seen it there. I've heard it here before. Maybe the education is a little bit different, but the background, the meaning is the same, right? So, and then don't get too hung up on just market maker guys. There's more than just market makers, right? There's wholesale, right? Wholesale is you guys go to Costco, if you guys have a Costco or Sam's Club or something like that, what are they? They're wholesalers, right? They're just gonna get the product for cheap. They're gonna sell you guys membership. They're gonna sell in bulk, right? So that's what wholesale does too, right? So wholesale is accumulating position as well. Don't get caught up on the market maker. I know the market maker is just this villain in the market, right? But they're there to do a job, right? They have a job just like you have a job to show up to work, and whether it's to work at McDonald's, whether it's to sell a car, whether it's to fix someone's heart and surgery, you guys have a job too, right? So don't get mad at the market makers, right? They're just there to do their job. And if they weren't there, we wouldn't be able to trade, okay? Like I said before, if there's no market makers in the thing, we'd just be sitting there watching no price action happen. But there's more players in the market than just the market makers, all right?
This is just kind of my own personal philosophy on life, right? This is how I got into computers. Years and years and years ago, my dad's computer broke, and this guy came to the house, and he put this little floppy disk in there, spent 5 minutes, and charged my dad $75. And I thought, that's crap, man.
Yeah.
A human made that computer, so a human can understand it, and that's how I got into computers. That's how I taught myself everything and gave myself a career. So when I hear people talk about market makers, it's the exact same thing. This is something that's been created by humans. There are humans on the planet that understand it. and they're using it for their careers. And that's one thing that Tino says. It's
that's 100% right.
It's the business model,
business,
right?
yep.
So a guy has to understand what the business model is, and then a guy can take part in it.
Just like you guys, I'm not saying you have to go to med school to be a doctor, right? You could probably see a surgery. As a nurse, you can't pin a central line. If you guys know what central line is, that stuff sticking out your neck where the little things hang out to put in fluids and medicine, all that stuff. I've seen it happen. I've seen it done thousands of times, right? I could put one in myself, right? But just because I know how to do it doesn't mean I can go out and do it, right? Sometimes you have to have a certification. That's what some of these jobs are, right? If you're a market maker, okay, you know what you're doing, but you still have to have your Series 7, all these other licenses that do the things like that, right? So we just want to know how to do what they're doing and why they do it, and it's going to make our jobs and our lives a lot easier, okay? So just how you said you helped, you went into computers because you saw that, that's a great job. It's just one of these things where it's I'd like to be a market maker if I could, and if I had the money and liquidity to, but it's just you can't. So what am I going to do next? I'm just going to play like the market maker, play with them, right? Because they're the ones that are most active in the market, right? They're the ones facilitating trade every single day. These people have a lot of money. They come in every once in a while with their size and move the market here and there, okay? But the biggest ones are market makers and wholesalers. And when I say wholesalers, they're just smaller shops with a lot of money, but they're not like your BlackRock or your Vanguard or your Fidelity and things like that.
Hey guys, can I ask a question?
No, go for it.
It's David, Magic Man.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's happening, dude? What do you guys think about trading BTC pairs for alts now? In this
that's a question I do not know about. Alts. Maybe Brad or maybe C130 does, but see, I'm not too familiar, you guys, with all these different things when it comes to trading these pairs, or even just trading anything other than Bitcoin or maybe Ethereum. But I mean, if you can read a market, you can read a market, because guess who makes up the market? It's people, right? And people trade the same way every single day. They trade with emotion. They trade like a business, right? So trade like a business. But I'll see if anyone in here can answer that part.
Yeah, I mean, it's with the alts being down now, and of course, they respond to Bitcoin. So it's
I get what you're saying now. Okay.
So Bitcoin goes up, alts go up. So I mean, if both are going up, then I guess it's not really benefiting, because it's
that happens in a normal market, you guys. Okay. If you guys have ever seen the market before, like the traditional stock market, Apple could be green all day. The market could be red, but guess what? The S&P 500 is green. Okay. Because the S&P 500 is heavily weighted with Apple stock. All right. So just because one thing is going down, the most likely all of them is going to go down if it's Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the leader when it comes to cryptocurrency, right? So for the most part, when I say the most part, it doesn't work out every single day. If Bitcoin is going down, almost every other coin is going down. There'll be some other coins that kind of just go against Bitcoin. Yeah. But for the most part, Bitcoin is the leader. Just like in the stock market, if Apple's going down, the other stocks could be going down too. And it's just going down because that one's going down. It just brings the other ones down, and it's not like it's the other one is bad or anything like that, or there's a bad day or something actually happening. It's just there's one with more weight, and it'll bring the rest of the market down.
No doubt. Does Brad have? Is he still on?
Yeah, Brad's
I'm still here.
Do you have any thoughts about that? The BTC pairs for alts?
See, are you referring to that specifically, or are you referring to when you can actually trade instead of it being BTC USDT, or I'm sorry, Ethereum and BTC instead of Ethereum and USDT?
Yeah, you can trade
to where they're both moving.
BTC as opposed to ETH/USD.
Yes, I think he's referring to something a little different.
So basically with that, you're if you can find a catalyst, because you can find some good moves when you're comparing stuff like that. That's why that's the whole reason people trade Forex, right? Because they're comparing these currency pairs, and they're looking for a catalyst in order to catch these moves. A lot of times it comes with inside information. If you work on a trading desk that consistently trades Forex, or if you work for some exchange where currency is big. So if you can find a catalyst, if you have a news source or something that says hey, when Doge was going up, right? There was a time when Doge was going up and all of the other coins were going down.
Right.
XLM, XRP,
Ethereum,
Even Bitcoin.
everything.
Even Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Everything. Yeah.
even Bitcoin, everything was going down, but Doge was going up. So if you were to play that difference, you would have been gaining more than just buying. I mean, Dogecoin is so cheap, but you would have been hitting bigger gains by shorting that or by buying Doge, depending upon which side you're trading on. If you're trading BTC versus Doge or Doge versus BTC. So you can get more substantial gains. It's kind of like trading the triple Qs or the VXX. So if you can find something like that, you can definitely make some good cash.
Could you explain like a trade in that where that would be like super beneficial? Because it's honestly confusing for myself when I'm looking at that. I'm like, two things that are moving, and like, could you explain like what a good a good opportunity in that would be, where it's like super beneficial to do? Like, just out of curiosity, it's kind of intriguing.
So it's basically just like a percentage, right? So let's say Bitcoin is going up slowly, like we're getting a slow grind, but one of these other currencies is leading Bitcoin, or maybe Bitcoin's pulling back and one of these other currencies is going up, or other cryptos is going up. It just basically kind of almost doubles the gain, because it's kind of like a scale, right? So if you have everyone knows what a triple beam is, right? So if you put a weight on, say you put a weight on the Bitcoin side, and then the other one, let's say you have ETH on the other side, it will go up faster than it normally would by just playing ETH versus USDT. Does that make sense?
It does. It's still a little confusing, because it's like they're both moving, and so it's like when would it be like detrimental to trade like that? Like with when would it be a negative? When would that be actually like work against you? This, I guess, also.
Hey guys, this is Premier. Can I just take a stab at answering this, just to get have an understanding of my understanding of it, and have you guys comment? Because I actually
please, yeah, because we don't understand these pairs in crypto. You guys we understand correlation on market, but we don't understand these crypto pairs.
Yep. Let me tell you what I understand of it, because this was something I was researching and asking around, and the best answer I got, in my understanding, is when looking at pairs, it's all about the base that you're focused on. So if your goal is to accumulate Bitcoin because you think ultimately Bitcoin is going to rise in value, which I think we all do, then it could be a good practice to trade against it, because you're accumulating more Bitcoin when you win those trades. So an example could be that if you are trading Doge, you said, against Bitcoin, you have your store in Bitcoin, 0.01 Bitcoin or whatever it is that you're going to buy Doge with or sell Doge against. So if you said high buy orders or low buy orders, or high sell orders rather, while you're waiting for those orders to get filled, you're sitting in Bitcoin. So if the move goes against what you were thinking and your order doesn't get filled, well, then your Bitcoin is rising, as opposed to the dollar, which is just standing stagnant.
Right. So it's more of a hedging thing than a speculation at that point.
That's one way to look at it. Otherwise, what you were describing before, and I'm not sure who asked the question, but otherwise it's like a double-sided bet. You're betting on two things happening at the same time, which is obviously exponentially harder than just picking one. It's like a parlay in sports betting, right? You need both to happen.
Exactly.
Okay.
The parlays always pay out the most. So.
Right. But then you also have
very, very risky.
They are very risky.
It seems very dangerous.
It's extremely risky, because in a sports bet, at least there's an end of the game, right? It ends. In
no kidding.
this scenario, you gotta decide when the end of the game is, or when you're gonna sell that pair.
Exactly. Your thing is zero. That's when the end is. If you don't want to, call it yourself. Yeah.
But on the same hand, it's like if you're on an ETH BTC pair and both drop, then your price stays pretty much the same. You know what I mean? As far as I know, because you're
I don't want to
dealing
give any
with
advice on that part, because I don't know about it. But if you're trading something at least that trades the same more times than often, like if you are trading like ETH and Bitcoin and they go down and up at the same times, then that might be okay. But if you're playing one of
Right.
these like these one-offs like Doge and Bitcoin, then you might not want to like
Yeah.
stick in that too long.
Yeah.
So that's totally up to you. Like our job is just to tell you guys how to manage your risk, but how you guys manage it up to you guys. So we're not going to sit here and tell you to not do it because just because I don't understand it doesn't mean I'm going to tell you to not do it, right? Like if you understand it, do it. But I'm just going to tell you just to manage your risk when you do it.
Yeah.
And
I
you
mean,
have to remember
ideally,
to. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I was just going to say, ideally is you're making a profit and cashing it out in BTC. And that's kind of the.
Yeah, there's like you guys heard, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to trade, you guys, and there's more than one thing to trade too, right? And that's the great thing about the market is there's multiple opportunities for multiple things. We're just going to tell you what the most high success rate is probably, and it's going to be to trade Bitcoin, other than anything else, Bitcoin and ETH. And it's like if you guys were trading the regular markets, there's the Nasdaq, the Dow, and the ES, the S&P 500 futures. Like we don't trade, the other stuff because either the volume's too light on it, or we just don't understand it, right? So both things will get you in trouble. A, not knowing, and then B, without the volume too, right? So just make sure there's a volume in anything that you trade first, and then two, make sure you understand the subject as well, all right?
I think there's also a tax consideration there. Now, bear in mind, I don't know for sure. This is just because I only started in November, so I haven't done my taxes since I started trading. But
That's correct.
That'll be
the way I
fun.
got the way I got it explained to me is that if I trade Bitcoin against Tether, when I have to export from the exchange a list of all my trades, send it to my accountant, and he'll say, okay, this trade you gained, this trade you lost, this is your net win, this is your net loss, because that's an exchange from BTC to Tether. But I trade inverse BTC, so I win and lose in BTC. So
Okay.
my understanding, like I've only got some general advice. I haven't got any professional advice yet. Is that because I'm trading for against BTC and I only ever gain or lose BTC, that's still classified as an asset. So if I'm down 0.1 BTC, that doesn't count as a loss as far as my taxes are concerned. So I
Okay.
think it might be worth reaching out to your tax guy and
Yeah.
just say so, because my understanding is if you're trading a US Tether pair, then you have to report that on your taxes, your gains and losses, right? But if
Okay.
you're trading against an inverse pair, like you're gaining or losing ETH or BTC, that's still classified as an asset. So that's not a loss or a gain. You have to report it on tax.
Yeah, that's correct. And also the fees are different because there's not that conversion back to USD.
So I'll let you guys, you guys can handle that stuff on your own, right? Because like I'm not going to trade these pairs that I don't understand. I'll do some more, do some more digging into it. But one thing I will tell you guys is, I mean, I hate taxes, right? I mean, who doesn't like paying taxes? I pay close to like 40% in taxes a year, and that's with all the write-offs I can find. Don't what's it called? Don't be afraid to pay taxes, right? Just learn how to trade. When you guys are like trying to like figure ways to like avoid taxes and avoid other things, that's when it's going to get you in a hot spot, all right? Because like if there's no liquidity in these markets, if there's no whatever the case is, no volume, no whatever happening, no action like it would in a normal pair. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know about these pairs, so I could just be speaking complete gibberish. But the point I'm trying to drive is just learn how to trade. And if you guys had to pay taxes, that's okay. That means you guys made money. All right. I hate paying taxes. I really hate it. But there's ways to get around not paying as much taxes. Like you guys can start an S corporation, LLC, things like that, and just write off more things as part of your business expense, right? And that's something you just want to look into once you start getting profitable as a trader. But don't worry about paying taxes. That's a good thing. That means you guys made money. Okay. I don't know. I think it's the guy Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. He was like driving at home one day. I was watching a video. He's like, don't worry about paying taxes. That means you're profitable. I mean, it's a good thing in a way that, you guys were profitable because that means you have to pay taxes. So, don't worry too much about not paying the man. Like I don't want to pay the man either. I know Bitcoin right now is a great way to kind of avoid that and stuff like that, depending on like what country you live in. But it's going to get to the point where all this stuff's going to become regulated, you guys. There's going to be some kind of regulation or some kind of tax, into all these different coins, whatnot. The government is greedy. They like their money. They're not going to let you guys make free money for very, very much longer without taking it and taxing it. Okay. If you guys have heard stupid things like rain tax and like all this, they'll tax anything they can. And you guys get double, triple tax on things like from, what you buy at the store to your gas, to the rainwater, to, all this kind of stuff. When I lived in Maryland, they had a rain tax. However big your curb was in front of your house, you got charged for that. I was like, what kind of shit is this, So they're going to find a way to tax you to death on everything. Just learn how to trade. All right. Don't worry about the taxes right now. Unless you guys are making a crazy ton of money, don't worry about taxes yet. Just worry about how to trade.
Here, let me jump in real quick and
catch up on the YouTube. First off, I wanted to shout out Progressive Martian and LUP 24/7 Burnell for the donations. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Progressive, you had a question in here that I saw. I'm trying to find. You got the link for the exo charts. Oh, so you want to protect your privacy. You're not really big into social media, so just DM 3 a.m. on Discord. If you have the Discord, and he can
Here,
he can give you
Progressive.
the details.
How about
for,
this, man?
for
Have
the
your
class.
friend like the post for us, and just tell us which friend liked the post. All right. If you don't have social media, just tell us who liked the post, and then we'll count that as your entry. Okay.
Okay, that's great, man. That's me. I'm totally antisocial.
Yeah. So if you guys
Computers
have
are for
people,
kids, man.
you guys can make a fake account too on an alternate computer and alternate country, whatever. We don't care. But the thing is, like, just like how C130 wants you guys to hit the like button, the subscribe button, the share button, it's gonna work the same with all social accounts. Like, there's no way that we can get this info to other people unless you guys like it and see it first, because like it's just an algorithm that's running these computers, right? If you guys like a girl in bikini, more girls in bikinis are gonna start showing up on Instagram. Okay, if you guys like people with cars, more cars are gonna show up on your Instagram. If you guys like houses, and vice versa, right? So if you guys, the more you like something that's like stock, you're gonna see more stuff that's stock related or crypto related on your Instagram feed. And it's also going to show it to other people that are friends with you and things like that. That's just the way this crazy algorithm works. And I understand you guys don't like it. It's kind of like this big brother thing, right? But at the same time too, it's just another way for us to get the word out. We're, as you guys can tell, this Discord has grown very, very fast in the last month. Since Brad has been in here, and since I've been in here, and since we got some one of the dead weights in here, and it's just we're trying to give you guys as much good info, but we want to give it to everybody too. We don't want to just leave it to the people that were here before, because there's millions of people out there losing money every day, right? Because they don't understand the workings of the market.
Well, that's like, I'm a huge privacy advocate, because I know what's going on behind the scenes, and I go to great lengths to keep all my devices, computer, phone, everything. Like, when I get a new phone, the first thing I do is wipe the operating system and put my own on it. And that's so I just want you guys to know, like,
I need you to do my cybersecurity then.
That's what I do. I swear, my mother-in-law just went to visit my brother-in-law, and she come home and said, "I'm going to buy an Alexa and put it in the house." And then I had to sit the entire house down and give him the 3-hour speech on why we will never have an Alexa.
I don't do voice. I don't do voice activated things either.
But I want to know, like, I want you guys
to.
I want you guys to know, like, I totally support you. Like, I don't mind paying for the course, because I was the one when you put on the thing, you're like, lick our Instagram to be the first one into the course. I was like, God damn it.
No,
So,
I saw that too, and that's just for like it's just for a raffle, you guys, and it's we're trying to make things fun. In the future we'll probably do like some discounts and stuff like that related to like the likes and the shares and posts. And like I said, that's just free advertisement. You guys, like, I could go out there and spend $1,000 on Instagram ads every single day. But honestly, it's worth more if you guys tag your friends or if you guys share it, because, I don't know if you guys know what a net promoter score is, right? So net promoter score is basically how likely you guys refer somebody, right? So if you guys know anything about Tesla spends $0 in advertising budget because it's all word of mouth, right? People love the product so much they're willing to tell their friends to go buy it. And also the product just speaks for himself, right? So for us, like, our product kind of just speaks for itself. And then you guys are probably referring some of the friends that want to come in here. Like, so we're not trying to force you guys. We're not trying to do anything like that. But at the same time too, you guys have been nice enough to, I think, bring other members into the community as well. If you guys share the YouTube, share an Instagram post and things like that. So like, that's the whole purpose behind the social media driven thing. And that's just the kind of world that we live in. That's the game that we're playing right now. Is just, this is the best way to get out and reach people. If I could just not have social media in general, I probably wouldn't, because but it's all social media is just advertising, right? It's just advertising. Like, you're just going to see the best parts, the best moments of life, and all this other kind of stuff. But unfortunately, that's the world we live in today, and we're just playing the game that we're kind of forced to live in, right? So I understand you don't like social media because of privacy and all stuff, and that's fine. I get it. We'll find some other ways, to work in. But like, just because, like, let me put it this way, I guess anything that's on social media won't be exclusive to people just on social media, right? We're gonna take care of the Discord. Everything that we offer in the Discord is gonna be usually offered to you guys first before we ever post anywhere. Just like the class will be offered to you guys first.
well, just kind of two notes on that. Like, I want to make sure you guys know, like, I totally support you 100%, because I mean, the space is changing. I mean, my wife she's a native Spanish speaker, so all of her
No,
Instagram, Facebook, everything's in
you guys don't have
Spanish,
to
and
tell us. We know you support us. That's why you guys are here right now, all right? That's why you guys are logged in. We know you guys are here. So you don't have to tell us the story, man, about like, you want to support us. We know you guys are here to support us, and we appreciate you guys. And we like I said, we appreciate your time more than anything else, right? Time's that one thing.
Well,
Sorry.
this is a story about how the space is changing. Because my wife, like last November, she looked at the Bitcoin chart. She's like, "What is this? Like, what are you doing?" So I tried to explain Bitcoin because she didn't know anything about it. And then last week, she comes running over to me with her phone, and there's this Peruvian guy, and she's pointing to the screen. She's like, "This guy made $60. Like, do this. And I'm like, "No, it doesn't work like that. Like, you have to pay attention." She's like, "No. He just clicks a button and he made $60." I'm like, "No, it doesn't work like that." So I mean, it's getting out there to that level where the average person walking down the street is seeing trading, right?
The funny thing is, my dad, he wanted to buy some Dogecoin, right, like a month ago, and I probably should have told him not to. But there's the opportunity you miss is the opportunity you don't take, right? So I was like, screw it. If you want to buy $1,000, it's $1,000. It's not a big deal, right? But the thing is, once your parents or your and it depends on your age. Like I'm about to be 31 in a couple weeks. Depends, like once your parents start hearing about these things like Dogecoin, all that stuff, that's when the ride is over, right? Because the cool kids have already gone into it. It's filtered into the news. It's gotten to your parents. Like that's when the thing is over. So like just like how you said, like your wife's like press this button. Like it's becoming a mainstream thing. Like right, people are out of work. People are at home trading and trying to find other ways of income. So like this has become a huge revolution in trading. And this is a chance where the little person might win. There's a pattern day trading rule, right? In trading stocks and equities, and the reason it's there for is not to protect the little guy, because you can walk into a casino and spend less than 25,000, lose it all in one trade, one gamble. But here in the market, they're protecting you guys, right, by not letting you trade unless you have 25,000 in your account. So, and that happened after the .com bubble. So basically, there's a lot of things the government does really to protect you, and there's other things they're not doing to protect you. They're just doing it because it works out to their advantage, right? There is strength in numbers. The more little people like us there are trading, like I've seen Forex markets where people just spike the market up, right? Because they got 500, 1,000 kids in their room saying, "Hey guys, we're gonna press long right now, 100x." That crazily that changed the market. It lasts for 1 minute or 2 minutes and it's done. But it's that kind of stuff is out there, and that's why like there's a lot of like market manipulation and like Forex and like Bitcoin and things like that too. So you guys have to be very, very wary and very careful of that stuff. But yeah, so like we will give you guys the same advantages as everyone else. Like that's on the social media platforms. It's just another way for us to reach out. And it's for predominantly it's kind of free. I've been messing around with just a few paid ads and just to see how it reaches other people. But the best kind of way to reach people is just word of mouth, you guys. So like if you guys have friends that want to join the Discord, share the link, share them on Instagram if they already have an Instagram. Like we don't want you guys to go and create an account if you don't have to. But for us, like, the more we have a following on here and then Twitter and things like that, it's just going to drive a bigger following. We're just trying to get very, very good information out to the most amount of people as possible and still keep it personal. Like just because we grow to 1 million people, I swear it's going to be just like this, but with a lot more people on the phone call, you guys.
Right. And that's our ultimate goal, right? Is to help the retail investor, right? To help the retail trader to be successful consistently. Whereas, most people's goal, at least as far as like, I mean, we did a Google search or a YouTube search the other day on stream, is they're like, hey, buy this indicator and you will be successful, right? 3 a.m. and I are not at your house clicking the button for you. So, we can't tell you that you're going to be successful unless you follow along with what we're doing, and ultimately that's going to be a development on your part to be able to execute these things that we're telling you properly. And we're telling you that if you do stick to the plan, manage your risk, that you will be successful, but it's not going to happen like these YouTube videos are telling you today. And it's not going to happen 100% of the time, right? I'm not here to tell you that you'll never lose a trade. I'm not here to tell you that I never lose a trade, right? There is a lot of traders out there that say that there's actually, I'm just kind of looking at the chart. We might catch a nice little pop up right here above 36,045 and maybe run up to 36,232. Sorry, I'm like a squirrel. I got a little bit distracted. But so there's a lot of traders out there that are saying, hey, I win 90% of my trades, right? That's horseshit. In my experience, there's nobody that wins that much, right? One of my favorite traders and someone I consider to be one of the best traders
last month had a 20K negative balance at the end of the month, right? He just had a terrible month, and it happens, right? But he's not ashamed to let us know, like, hey, I'm struggling this month, so I'm going to take some time off, right? Anyone that's telling you that they're winning 90% of their trades, ask them to see their P&L, or ask them to see their broker's statement, right? If they're winning 90% of their trades, they should have no issue broadcasting that information. Like I told you guys, I put myself in like the 65 to 75% win rate, right? Trading BTC is a little bit easier because the market makers are just kind of coming in, and you still have a lot of underexperienced retail investors trading it. But that's a 65 to 75%. If you guys are trading at that win rate, or even above, right, you should be proud of yourself. You don't need to win 100% of your trades. You could even, even like I said, if you're just a break-even trader, if you're just winning enough money to pay for the costs of your trades, then you should consider yourself a good trader. And then the only thing you need to do is just test that edge going forward, and that's it.
That's really correct. And if you guys like talk about market psychology, another step forward, when you guys are in school, you guys are told, "Oh, get an A." What's an A? 100%, right? A B is like 90% or 80%, and a C is whatever, right? And you need those grades to pass. The market is not the same as school. You guys don't need 100%, 90%, 80%. It's okay here to get C's and D's, all right? You can get a 60% win rate, a 70% win rate, and be perfectly fine and be insanely profitable. Because as long as your losses are smaller than your wins, you guys will be more than fine. And that's what we're saying. You have to protect those accounts with your stop losses, and that's those losses that you cut short. Okay, so it's not school. You don't have to be 100%, 90%, 80%. It's okay to get 60s. It's even okay to get 50% here. Okay, you can still be a profitable trader and hit 50%, but your wins have to be larger than your losses, you guys. So it's okay. We're here to change your psychology, the way you guys think too, when it comes to the markets, and just maybe in life in general for some of you. But you don't have to get an 80 or 90% in here to pass. It's okay to get a 70, a 60, you guys.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The that something like that. I'll throw out there that I've had my account wrecked numerous times, and is like I train in a lot of like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I noticed like
We'll start a jiu-jitsu club. Yep.
Oh,
I'm a forever white belt because I never go to class, you guys. But yeah, I've been in it now for the last 5 years or 6 years.
Oh, that's funny, dude.
Actually, probably longer, but just a lot of breaks.
I look at it similar to that as like it's mat time. It's like time on the mat, and like and so like and it's like one of those things that like it's like when new people start, it's like you're so frustrated. And really what got me started is and it is a long time ago, but this chick beat my ass, and I wasn't like I was like I thought it was so cool. Like I was like, this is crazy. Like there's nothing I can do. Like there's nothing.
It's about technique, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's it. And so it was like, I mean, she whooped my ass, and so I was like, man, this is incredible. Like how she can do and I was like, man, this is nuts. And so but it was like also, and then after it's like 6 months, a year, it's like you're frustrated. And you're like and so you're just like how do I get better? And so you're trying to like look on YouTube videos, like
you go by Gordon Ryan or John Donaher videos. That's how you get better, man.
Well, what's fun? No, this is what's funny. I started like 20 years ago almost, and so it was the Lion's Den book is what I bought. And,
man.
Yeah, it's funny, man. I bought like the Lion's Den like training manual, and like I had
Lion's Den is Shamrock, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, Shamrock.
Yeah, man. Like, dude, I'm huge into fighting, man. Like when it comes like, I'm more of a stand-up person. Like when Brad and I were in the military, like before I ever made it to the unit, I was on their Taekwondo team just because like I'm good at like kicking and everything else, right? And that's just what I did growing up as a kid. But no, we love MMA, we love martial arts, and stuff. And like the thing about martial arts, it teaches you guys this foundation earlier about just like honesty and integrity and perseverance and like self-control, all this other kind of stuff, right? And it can get cheesy sometimes too, right? But a true martial artist is just someone that knows that even become a black belt, you don't stop learning. And if you guys know how the belt system actually started, you start out as a white belt, and it's just something to keep your gi together. And the more you train, the more blood, sweat, and tears you got. Your belt actually turned into black, right? It's just so dirty, so nasty looking. and then your belt actually starts ripping again, and you become a white belt all over again. And it's just this cycle of life that's just saying basically you guys will never become the master. You're always a student, right? You just might know somebody more than something else, but you guys are always a student. Just like Brad and I were always students of the game.
It's like you're always, but I was gonna say you almost might, because for the psychology of it is something that like it kind of that helped me is like, so I helped open like Uriah Faber when his gym first opened.
Oh, right on.
I ran his gym for a few years, and
oh, you might be close to me then.
Who's talking right now? Is it Nick 916?
Yeah, I'm in Sacramento.
Is that San Francisco area
Sac.
code?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're like, no, it's the Sacramento area code. You're right.
Sacramento, okay.
You're like, yeah, you're right next to me actually. That's right. That's right.
Are you in the Bay Area?
No, I'm out in Yuba City actually.
Oh shoot, you're close. That's cool.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say you almost might want to put like for the mentality, because my buddy is a super high level wrestler, and so so it was interesting because like him and I were like a team. We actually were on the United States grappling team, and so
nice.
But there was like the super high level jiu-jitsu guy that my buddy was going against, and he was like a really high level wrestler, and he trained grappling too. But I was like, man, it was like I would almost psych myself out by the belt, and he was like, dude, he's like, but if you look at it like this, like I'm a black belt in wrestling. And no, he looked at, he's like, I'm a black belt in wrestling. So,
that's true, yeah.
And so but it was like the psychology of it, and so it's almost like if you put it in like a belt system of like, all right, like you're the white belt in trading, and it's like just to get the mentality to people of like, hey, like I don't care how many books you read, how long you stay up, and this is what I've had to like learn myself. It doesn't matter how long I stay up. I need the mat time behind the screen, like and actually getting the feel of the market and to learn how to stop trading, because it's like, like you made a great point of like everybody stop trading, because it's like my thing was like I would like feel like I needed to be in a trade to like, otherwise I'm not getting the experience, but I'm actually just losing money is what I'm doing.
You know,
and it's
like these old ladies at the casino, man. Just lurk these casinos that, you know, like the slot machines where someone's already put a bunch of money into it, and just wait for your turn. You know, that's what these like little old ladies do at the casinos. They just sit there and wait who puts their most quarters in there, and they go out, walk up, and like, yeah, that one's had a few $100 and hasn't hit yet. Like, you know, it's all a gamble at the end of the day, but you can define how much risk you want to put it, and like put the odds hopefully more in your favor. Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's a great, but that's really it. It's like I've really had to like get good at like trying to put it in like, look, I don't have the mat time to, you know, really to consider myself whatever. It's like, so I'm a white belt in trading, and really just because it's like right out the gate you want to just go all in and like, just, all right, I'm going to try to make, you know, it's like just whatever. And it's like, no, but at the end of the day, it's like, then some chick comes in and beats my ass. And I'm like, all right.
No, you're 100% right. And just like, you know, you can go into an account with $100 and not know how to trade and, you know, blow up the account. You can also go into an account with $1 million and blow up the account too. So it's not about like how much money you guys have. It's just all about how much you know, right? So, you know, the person with $1 million might last maybe a little bit longer in the market until they get wiped out. But guess what? Having a larger size is not the answer, okay? Because, you know, your basics, your fundamentals are still gonna be the same, right? So just like, you know, if someone slaps on a black belt, they're not gonna go into a tournament and kick someone's ass, right? If someone has a white belt on, it's the same thing. You know, it's all about skill level, right? So like, you know, just, and you know, it's the same thing too. If like, you know, jiu-jitsu, you go to some places and someone's a blue belt or purple belt, they're not really a blue belt or purple belt compared to someone else's standards, right? You go to some other place and it's like, dude, there's some blue belts that'll kick a black belt's ass at other schools, because just like, you know, the quality and the rigor of how they get, you know, promoted for belts is different from place to place to place. For some people, it's all about how much time you put in. For some people, it's about how many tournaments you've won and things like that. And everyone has their own different thing, but, you know, not every black belt is the same as every black belt. Not every white belt is the same as every white belt. If you guys are looking at kind of like martial arts structure.
And styles, like different styles.
Yes.
It's like, so this is like different trading styles. And so like somebody was explaining earlier, it's like this person uses this indicator for or whatnot, and then, but you guys are getting to the same result, and it's, you know, just different styles. And
the thing is, you know, Brad and I, we're not one trick ponies, guys. We're not 100% TPO. We have other tricks too in the bag to show you guys, but we have to put everyone on the same starting page, right? So if we called the TPO like a white belt class, the boot camp class, like that's what it is, right? and eventually we'll show you some other different techniques and ways of trading. There'll be different belt levels, right? And I think that's actually cool. Maybe we have to start a belt system in the Discord, you guys.
Now
I don't
you guys
know.
got 3 a.m. going with this damn jujitsu thing. Good job. He's been itching to do this jujitsu thing. But I mean, that's a great point. Let me just shout out Eric Smith for the 5. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Eric.
Said he's got to go. We'll see you later. But yeah, so a way to think about that too is kind of like how you're explaining it. So in the Army, we have these competitions, and it's day 1 is a jiu-jitsu, day 2 is a pancration, and then day 3 is a martial arts fight. And so in one of the it's a double elimination tournament. One of the tournaments that I was competing in, the day 1, I went against this guy who was a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and I'm a white belt in jiu-jitsu because most of the jiu-jitsu that I've done is no gi, and so like we don't really do belts, we just do experience. And I'm not a huge fan of the gi anyways. I actually hate that.
Yeah, same here.
I feel like it's like
I don't like it either.
Yeah, it's like
so we're all on the same page. Gordon Ryan. If you listen to Gordon Ryan.
It's slow. It slows you down a lot.
Well, and the thing is like, so this guy, I know a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but I grew up boxing, and so on day 2, I faced him again because he won the jiu-jitsu bracket, and I ended up winning through the losers bracket. And we go day 2, so it's pancration, so we can do open hand slaps to the face, close hand punches to the body, and kicks. And it's just 1 10-minute round. And he's a brown belt, and he did the same setup. He went for an arm bar, and I just pulled my arm out and just smacked the shit out of him for 10 minutes. And I beat the brakes off this guy because he was a one-trick pony. He didn't know anything else except jiu-jitsu. And for me, I love to smack. I got long arms, big hands.
Yeah.
I love the pancration. And then he understood, and this is something smart on his point, because day 3 it was going to be me versus him in the MMA fight. He backed out because he knew that in the cage, when he didn't have the gi, he was going to struggle. Because
he's going to get slapped. Yeah, he's just going to get slapped for 10 minutes. Yeah.
Well, the day 3 is actually like an MMA fight. It's 3 5-minute rounds. Yeah, and I was going to just beat the brakes off of him because after he beat me in the first round, he armbarred me probably a minute and a half, right? And I'm used to getting armbarred because I got long arms, and I kind of stick my arms out there because I'm trying to just I'm trying to get control of the head. And he thought, and he was like kind of cocky after he's like, gave me that look like, you suck. And I was just like, oh God, I hope I face you on day 2. And, end up working out, and, he ended up backing out. And it's the same way with trading. Is like, people get so used to this one trick thing, this moving average or stochastic or something that's working great, especially on crypto, because crypto's always been going straight up. But now that crypto's going down or ranging, they're kind of like, fuck, I'm getting smacked in the face over and over, and I don't know what the fuck to do. And what you're seeing is a lot of people just quit. But what the great thing about most of you guys that are in our Discord that 3 a.m. I found out is that you guys are willing to adapt, right? You guys are going back to your gym, your jiu-jitsu gym, and be like, hey coach, I'm a master at trading momentum, but the market isn't in momentum right now, and I still want to trade. So teach me how to trade, right? And that's the best thing, kind of like you guys were alluding to, is that you're always an open book, always learning, right? Like one of my favorite takedowns in wrestling is an arm drag, right? But sometimes, some people have like 3 a.m. It's hard to arm drag him because his arms are not very long, right? And they're big, so there's not a lot of space in between that bicep and that trap to stick your arm up in there and get behind him. So you gotta work a single leg, or you gotta I wouldn't even work a single leg.
You can't grab my legs.
Run away.
Big.
Just run to my car and get my gun and shoot 3 a.m. because that's the only way I'm gonna take him down. But so that's the thing, is you always have to be evolving. And so for these people, it's sad for me to see that they're trying to prove that certain systems don't work, because we've never said it doesn't, it can't work. We just said it doesn't work all the time. And it's obvious because we're seeing such a huge influx of people coming over from that market cipher, which is in my opinion, it's literally just a bunch of indicators that were smacked together and marketed very well. I'm not.
But yeah. I mean, it is impressive. It is impressive.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Tell you how much I love you guys real quick. I went on YouTube last night and I watched a video of MarketCypher or CryptoFace and BitBoy. I think it's from like 2019. And BitBoy's like, oh, you know, I walked in this hotel room, like, and someone was saying, oh, great things about your MarketCypher. Tell me more about it, right? All this kind of stuff. And I sat there and watched it. I'm just like, you got this like 18, 20-year-old, maybe even 24-year-old kid who doesn't want to show his face. And this is 2019 before coronavirus, right? And wants to remain anonymous and all this other kind of stuff and yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like, and he just sounded, it's like, you know, it's just a bunch of oscillators we put together. And, you know, I'm just like, holy shit. It's like, I wish I was this guy, you know, selling this thing way back in the day. Because, like, he literally just took something that's already there and he just rebranded it, guys. Like, it's no different than a MACD and a VWAP and, you know, an RSI and all that stuff just plugged in together. And then, you know, it's a swing indicator and all this other stuff. And, you know, then that's why you get the dots and all that stuff. Like, you know, Brad and I have, like, made, you know, algorithms for us to trade. They're not as successful as we'd like them to be, but they're the same thing as what this thing is showing you guys, you know? So it's just like, if you guys learn how to trade the market and market structure, you don't ever need an indicator at all. You don't. You need a VWAP maybe just because you need to know what the scorecard is for the day for the market makers and the institutions and stuff like that. But it's what it is, just a scorecard, you know? We don't use it as an indicator. It's just a math problem done for you. That's what all these moving averages are, just math problems, you know, done for you in real time.
3 a.m. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, it's G Bro. I've been hanging out in the Discord for quite a while and following you guys on YouTube. I'm so glad you brought the MarketCypher issue up. That's kind of how I got introduced to crypto.
I think that's how this thing whole got started, man. Because like, you know, before
It did.
we converted Ramon, you know, C130, he was all MarketCypher. And we're like, hey man, it's some Kool-Aid that's, you know, you're slowly gonna die from drinking the Kool-Aid, you know. And you know, Brad and I have a different kind of Kool-Aid, but we like to call it wine. It just gets better with time. All right, just don't drink too much once you get too drunk. All right, that's strong.
So what I wanted to say is, I guarantee you, a lot of folks on here who aren't saying anything are driven here from the MarketCypher marketing through a couple of YouTube big guys. I'll just say that. Made it look easy, taking 10 grand to 100 grand, then 100 grand to $1 million, you know, in the momentum phase from December to March. And that's really what got me hooked as I watched that and wrecked an account. And I'm sitting watching daily, reading every bit, excuse me, of the Discord every day, writing down terminology, studying it, doing what you guys are saying before I trade again because I lost too much money.
And we appreciate you stepping out and saying that. You know, I know there's a lot of guys that are quiet that have probably gone the same thing as you. And you know, I try to tell everyone before, I've been unsuccessful before, and I've lost money in buying indicators and all that stuff. And that's why I'm so anti-indicator, you guys. If I ever make an indicator, it's going to work 100%. But guess what? I'm not going to bring it out, right? Just like I told you guys before. Why would I do that? You know, if I do sell, it's going to be $1 million to just one bank, right? These banks, they get algorithms to trade. They pay a bunch of money for them. They don't pay $1,500 for an indicator. You know?
No. That's the truth there.
And we're sorry, man. You know, it's just part of the whole game, right? Like there's this, everything's a get rich quick scheme, you know, when it comes to the markets and just anything else, right? Like, you know, you want to sell like, you know, workout clothes to your like, you know, wife's friends. You want to sell vacuum cleaners. You want to sell whatever it is door to door, like, you know, these knockoff colognes and all stuff, or like candy bars for your school. Like everything is a sales thing, right? Like, and unfortunately, that's the way that people get suckered in because everyone wants easy money. We live in America. We want things fast, right? You know, no one wants to go to school. No one wants to put in time for work. No one wants to learn a skill. Like people just want things today because we've been instantly gratified by everything. And that's the way these apps and everything's just changed our life, right? So, you know, I'm sorry about that, man. But, you know, we'll help you get you right. And it seems like you're doing the work yourself already. So that's perfect. You're already one step ahead of everyone else. Like you're doing the work.
Yeah, and just one thing I wanted to finish with is just basically the guys who are out there watching or trading and losing, trying to force it, just wait, watch and wait, and sit on the sideline and pay attention to what you're being taught, and take these courses, man, because it's going to change your trading life. And I'm a newbie, just very honest, very new within 6 months. And I learned real quick. You burned me once. You're not going to get me twice. So sit on the sidelines, stop trading, and watch and observe until you feel comfortable. That's all I wanted to say, man. You guys are great.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. That's you know, I'm glad someone, you know, was brave enough to speak up and say that because, you know, you guys need to hear that from, you know, someone in your peers, you know, like you guys need to hear this. And we see it all the time. Like that's why we split the channels up to TPO Bitcoin to regular Bitcoin, because there's a lot of people here. And I know this started as a MarketCypher thing, and they see that what Brad and I are doing is working, and all these plays that Brad posts are it's A plus. They're A plus trades for the most part. Like I think he's lost maybe one or two, the whole time he's been in here. And you guys are seeing, or not you guys in general, I'm just saying the whole room has seen that what he's doing is working, and people still want to be in their old ways. They want to be stubborn, they want to be hard-headed, they want to lose their money, right? For some reason, some people don't like money, right? They want to just have this shiny little indicator toy on their trading
They
view,
want to be right. That's the
and they want to be right,
They want to be right.
And let me tell you guys this too. We have people from other Discords with big followings and YouTube subscribers in this account looking at what Brad's doing. You guys, that's how powerful this stuff is, because it's real information. It's the real truth. And I think it's just funny. Like, if someone's so successful, why are they over here to see what we're doing, right? And it's like it's like you guys. We don't. I belong to a few other Discord rooms, and I just went through and deleted them yesterday because I'm like, why do I have this junk on my thing, getting these alerts and notifications, and I don't even go in there. I don't even lurk. The last one I lurked in was just to see what J. Cole was doing, right? Just to see. And guess what? No one responded to a shit because I called him out and just stopped him in a second. So the thing is, like, don't fall for bad information. Don't fall for these other things. Okay, like we're honestly here with the best advice, the best stuff that we know, and the more that we know and the more that we figure out, we're gonna be sharing with you guys too. So I'm happy you guys are all here and happy you guys want to learn.
There's a little bit of a contradiction here, and I guess I'm not kidding. I know I've been just yammering my face off in here.
That's okay.
But I'm thinking this might be something that other people are thinking about too, because you talk about indicators, right? And I mean, I think all of us have gone through that stage. Like I bought Ivan on Text indicator for $1,000. I bought Market Cipher for $600.
Yeah, I spent a few thousand, guys.
Trade signals, right? But there's the other side of it too, because when I first got in, the first thing it was Crypto Hopper and the robots. Put money in here and gain a little percentage per day. Now I stayed away from that right in the beginning because I thought, there's no way. But when you're talking about indicators, I mean, the next logical progression is algorithmic trading. So because with Traders Reality, I'm kind of looking into Forex a little bit more, and that seems to be a really popular thing. So like I had this idea in the back of my mind, and I think I'm going to do it in the future, where a guy sets up algorithmic trading, with a $500 account, $1,000 account.
Yeah.
And if that algorithm can generate 1 or 2%, like my view, like that's where the win is. If you can do 1 or 2% a couple times a week,
consistency,
just by the power of compound interest, that's going to be passive income that's constantly generated. So
and that's what we're trying to teach you guys.
I kind of hear a contra. I hear that it's to my mind, it's a contradiction, and maybe you guys don't see it. So I'm just saying this so maybe you can clarify for everyone, because Brad's talked about it. Well, okay, then maybe it's just me.
I'm interpreting it. They're saying like that, indicators can work for some people, but it's like a mechanic. It's like you can't just give a random person a
exactly,
and just say, hey, here, now you're a mechanic. Here's all your tools. It just because
so I'm thinking
tools, you got to know how to use them.
That's true too.
Yeah. So I guess I kind of want to get your guys' input on algorithmic trading, because at some point in the future, that's something I want to do. Set up five or six small accounts that just run an algorithm and then trade hands on with my bigger one. So
I understand what you're saying. There are some banks, there are some people that do algorithmic trading, right? A lot of your big banks. Well, I think there's a few. I can't remember what the brokers, the firms are called. They do algorithm. Oh my god, I can't talk. Algorithmic trading, right? So the computer's pretty much handling all the trades. It's just very high level math problems about moving averages and momentum and things like that too, right? But also too, it's probably not on a day-to-day basis like you'd think. It's probably more on a long-term basis as well, So that's why you got your 50 and your 200 EMA on like a daily chart. It looks like it works so well because pretty much it almost happens every time there's a bounce off the 50 or every time there's a crossover, sell off, or
a multi-million-dollar team writing those algorithms as well.
Exactly. You have to remember these algorithms change daily, right? They don't the complexity of these algorithms are not just moving averages, crossovers, RSI, MACD. It also has to do with social interactions too. Like these algorithms feed off Twitter and feed off the internet, feed off the news. And when they hear words like inflation and things like that, that's how they get triggered sells and buys. You guys, you won't believe, like just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when Brad and I were trading, Jay Powell was talking. He didn't mention the word inflation, but the report that came out, the FOMC minutes had inflation written all over it, and these algorithms went crazy. It was just, just this huge mess. It looked like a market open where the thing just bounced all left to right sideways until it got settled down. But guess what? More accounts are traded by people like me and you, by people with a brain, okay, people with hands. All right, it's not everything's traded by a computer. There's a few things out there, and there's a few things that might trade better with a computer because there's less people that are actually trading it, maybe like the forex and things like that, because you got to pay someone to trade, right? But for the most part, you guys have to learn. When you guys are trading, you're trading against somebody else. For the most part, you're not trading against a computer. You're trading against someone else, and everyone has these fears. Everyone has these, feels happy when they win a trade and all that kind of stuff, right? So your emotions, you're playing against yourself, you're playing against your emotions, but you're also playing against someone else and their emotions as well too. So we get these Trump pumps back in the day when he'd send out a tweet, the market would rally and then turn around and drop a little bit. We get things when Jay Powell comes up. We get things when coronavirus says there is going to be a vaccine and on the news, all stuff like. This is all based off of emotion. Like a lot of markets are played off emotion. They're not played off just physical numbers. Back in the day, numbers, yes, huge thing. If you're an accountant, you can learn all these quick ratios and whatnot to know if a company was doing well, if they're going to be profitable and all stuff. But now, accounting really has no say really in the stock market. These companies get downgraded and upgraded all the time, and their stocks are still moving up and down based on what people find valuable, right? When they say Tesla is a $700 stock, it's not worth $700 a day. It's worth $700 in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Okay, so don't get.
So that's more of a. It's more of a confusion on my part because I hear anti-indicator, but then like Brad said a couple times, he's working on an algorithm. So maybe I just got confused about what an algorithm was, right?
For fun, you guys. The algorithm for us is fun. We don't let it sit there and trade all day long. Okay. Sometimes if you want to do a small account, it's fine. It's like anything else. You don't know until you try, and maybe we just don't have the right thing yet. But the thing is, with these algorithms, you're plugging in all these indicators and plugging all these averages. And for the most part, like we're not computer scientists. We don't know how to, incorporate like data from like, Twitter or from like, search engine optimization and keywords and things like that. But if anyone's here is interested in that kind of stuff and knows more to do that kind of stuff, like, link up with us. Like what we use is called Bloodhound. It's on, it's an app available for ninja traders, like an extra $1,500, and like it just makes it easy with all these nodes. You can put all these if, ands, buts, nors, fors, or and then you have to trade with indicators, unfortunately. But for us, it's just more like it's like a pastime. It's just like we just sit there, we just have a few beers, just talk about like, oh, maybe we could try this and that. We just let it play out because like sometimes they will throw a good signal, and like you have so much going on in your chart that when that thing throws up a signal, you're like, okay, let me take a look at this, but not necessarily do I always want to act upon the trade, And the same thing too, like market cipher, it's throwing up a dot. Your job is to interpret the market, not just to go off the dot, right? So there are probably some indicators that are decent, but you can't just pull the button or pull the trigger because the indicator says yes, go. Like they don't know the rest of the underlying conditions. They just know numbers. That's all these indicators know. They're just math problems, you guys. And not every math problem is giving you the right answer.
All right, guys, we went over the time. 3M can stay on. I'm gonna have to hop off.
No, I gotta go back to bed because I'm early.
Did anybody jump in on this move to the upside that I was talking about a couple of minutes ago?
I had the exact same problem. You called it, and I looked at the charts. I looked at my thing. I thought I should do it, but I hesitated, and I just looked at that big fat candle. Now I'm like, damn! I should have just let. See, that's the thing. I want to learn, but I also want to make money. So I have those moments where Brad says something, but I don't understand what he says, so I hesitate. And now I see it's like God
losing is a win.
Hey guys,
Hey Brad, I have a question about that actually, because I was watching the Delta, and like everything was negative up above. So I said, well, it doesn't feel like it's going to move. I mean, I saw it go up, I saw it come back down. I was watching the Delta, and then it came further down, and then all of a sudden I stepped away. I was like doing some yoga shit, and I look up and it's like, whoop, it had popped. So
exactly. It's the exact same for me. I looked at the Delta. No, it's not going anywhere.
I'm only looking at a 30-minute chart because I'm on the phone.
Me too.
I'm just sitting outside, and so I can't even see the delta. But I'm just looking at basic market structure for that call, guys. So if you look at the market structure, we get that consolidation, and you see price go down, but it can't get down to that last consolidation. That 35,517 has been like a huge bouncing point in the past week or so, and it tried to push down. It couldn't come down, and then so the only place it really has is to go up. And I knew that if we broke that 36.045, that we were going to have a nice little takeoff. And the first level I was looking at was that 36.232 that I was talking about. And then above there, we have this kind of spill zone that we had from yesterday night to come back up to. I don't know if it's going to fill all the way up. I think let's see, this it's up to like 37.2 is where we're back into that range is at. So I don't know if it's gonna get all the way up there, but it's just basic market structure, right? If they basically build a position, they like I said, that delta can be confusing because the delta is not telling you whether it's sellers or buyers. It's just telling you where the position was actually executed on, if it was executed on the bid or the ask. And so people can be buying on the bid, even though typically it's going to show up as negative delta because it's traded on the bid. And the negative delta typically rises because you have aggressive selling, but size players and smart players are going to hide their position by limit filling on that bid as a buy. And that's kind of what happened here. We got a bunch of people trapped short, obviously, with all that negative delta, and then, just kind of ripped their heads off.
Hey guys, Cyworker here. Thank you, Brett, for your explanation. And I was in this trade a while ago today, and I expected this move earlier, and then it went against me, got stopped out, and bought in later, quasi during the low or low in, and then during your stream that move happened and all my targets got hit. Can you maybe doing or make a video to explain this trade, because some people also had problems to get it so fast, maybe with a market structure and step by step, and maybe you can tell also, because maybe you also can explain that it couldn't happen earlier, or I don't know, because I expected this move earlier today and now it happened, and I didn't expected it during this time. I hope you got what I mean. Sorry. Thank you.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah,
Hey,
I
real
can
quick,
definitely.
Worker. I'm the same man. I hop into the trades way too early, so I'll let Brad take that one.
Okay.
I mean, so for me, it just kind of makes sense. I'd have to pull up exo charts to see where it is, but basically, I'm just looking for a break of liquidity. That way, we can get that steam, and then also, something that helps me, assume that upside is coming is if you look back, when we had this downfall, we have one of these candles that has this huge wick to the bottom, right? So, like we were talking about, I don't think a lot of people are going to be selling off. I think a lot of people are going to be covering some profit. But if price gets lower, they're not going to be they're not going to be not buying Bitcoin, right? People are still going to be buying. And so, but unfortunately, there's a lot of retail traders out there that were, getting their, I mean, that's pretty much who got their heads ripped off right here, is because all of the momentum indicators are pushing down, especially on the larger time frames. And so, they're assuming that we're just gonna fall off this cliff and go back down, but they're not really understanding how or why market structure works the way that it does, and not understanding there's certain spots where you can see where supply shuts off. And if you look back about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, that red candle that comes down but can't come down to that 35.17 or 35.517 low on the, at least on the Bybit chart, that's telling us right there that there is no supply in the market, right? Because if there was supply, we would have kept pushing down. The next candle opens up and you have a delta divergence within the candle where there is more sellers, and you have that huge wick to the top and that little body at the bottom.
Yeah.
But then the next candle broke it, right? And it didn't break the low. It came within the same tick of the low, but didn't break the low. And so that's telling you, if there was enough sellers actually in the market, enough supply in the market, that we would be breaking the low of that previous candle, but we didn't. And so then, the next candle comes up and it breaks the top again. So now we're almost one time framing up. And you can see that one candle ago, basically one tick down or two tick down. I'm looking at the candlesticks on my phone, but so I can't really see on Excel charts. But it barely it opened up. It went down two ticks and then it went back up. And we had that spot where I was saying, like right at that 36,045, we had a hesitation. There was even a little bit of responsive selling off of that point because of these prior highs, but we didn't really pull back very far. And what happens is a lot of people, a lot of probably institutions or maybe retail traders, hopefully a lot of you guys caught the trade. I know Dyer was saying that he got a little piece. They loaded up, and you saw the next bar open up. It ticks down a little bit. It can't go down any farther, and so we know supply is completely shut off. And then we just rip. And right now we're still kind of ripping up. The next level is going to be this 37.0 or 37.96 ish level. If it can continue to fill on the way up, that's going to be the next level going up as far as where there's some more liquidity to get back into that upper range before we had that spill.
I just want to clarify.
And
Okay,
real
thank
quick,
you. Like that often, where you'll say, okay, if it gets to this level and then, but it's not clear to me if you think, okay, when it gets to this level, this 37.96, is that the end of this pump, or are you saying that it's going to, you think it'll consolidate up there and keep going from there or stay in that level?
So
It's just the way you word it confuses me.
Okay, so if I was to be in this trade, right, I was just, I'm not trading right now. That's just, I was just putting it out there because that's what I was watching. But if I were to be in this trade and I was still running some profit from below, that is the spot that I'm covering some of my profit, right? Because right there, that there's people that sold from that level that are going to defend their position. And so that's where you cover a little bit of profit. When I say I sell into strength, or I like to sell into strength, that's what I mean, because pretty much every time that we're gonna what's wrong with you, sir? The bee? Okay, then move into the shade. Pretty much every time that we get to a position like that or a point like that, what's happening is people are protecting their position because they don't want to close their trade. And so if we sell right before that, then we're covering ourselves on the the up end, instead of letting it come all the way back down to wherever our stop loss is at and losing all that profit in between. Just sell a little bit more right there.
Another
like the buyers want this.
Another thing too is, like, we're not marathon runners, you guys. We're going from point to point to point. We're just sprinting. So we see the spots where the action should pause or should stop. So that's why he's saying he's going to take some profit off the table, because you don't want to go for this long marathon run. You don't have the energy, the juice to go there. We can only go from point to point. Remember, we're trading with people. We're not trading like we own the market, right? So we're just going from point to point, and that's how we identify them, is basically by these places in the TPO. And that's why he's saying if and then, because we're going from here, and then when that happens, then we go from there. Right, so that's how that if and then works for us in the TPO. We're not trying to call the move from here to there completely. We're just going from point to point, just like I was talking about the stream the other night. How we're going from volume node to volume node, because that's where strength is at, right? You guys are going from one rung to the next rung. Don't try and jump from here to there. You guys are gonna fall short. And then also too, Sideworker, before I was getting to trades a lot earlier than what I wanted to be in, because I thought I was going to miss something, right? This is the one place that's okay to be late to, man. It's like at school. You're at school. They want you to be there early, sit in your seats, ready for class. It's okay to be late. You're basically outside in the hallway talking to your friends, watching the market play out as it's happening. And just because the bell rings doesn't mean you have to be in your seat by then. You just need to make sure that when they take off, you take off too. Okay, if there's a fire drill, get in with the fire drill, all right? Get out of the building when you can, all right? You don't have to be early to the party. It's okay to be fashionably late this time, all right? So you don't have the money to sit there and be early and sit there and wait, even though it does play out. Get in there when the timing is right, and that's the screen time. That's where the screen time comes in, okay?
Okay, thank you. But
You're
I
welcome.
honestly, I thought that before it was the right time for me, and then I hovered in the trade to get out with no loss, but I was I thought that that it still can happen, and so I bought back in later, and so I hovered around the whole day, and planned for just maybe 1 or 2 hours. So this is the thing that I don't get, or maybe that's my biggest thing that I have to learn, to get a trade placed, or maybe not in these 2 hours, and then when these 2 hours are over, I have to
Yeah.
cancel. I don't know what, because I don't have internet at work, and
Okay.
so I can't do anything.
Okay, we'll have to work something out for you then. Okay, you will have to figure out what are better times for you to trade. We have to maybe figure out how's the way to get you the internet to work. We have to get you like doctor's note for irritable bowel syndrome, so you go to the bathroom for a little bit and hang out there, man, with your computer. We'll have to figure out a way, right?
Yeah.
The thing is
Thank
about
you.
this business is right about this business. It's not about we're trying to work around other people's schedules and stuff like that. But you're gonna have to figure out ways, right? That's how people in business get around things, because they're creative. They're thinking about ways to overcome, right? So we have to adapt and overcome, right? So if we can only trade for the 2 hours, let's make it the best 2 hours, even if you don't take a trade and just watch. And like I was saying earlier, set your levels. When you have TPO set up, you can go ahead and mark certain areas you want to get alerted from. Put your alerts in the trading view, since XO doesn't have alerts yet. But we'll try and figure out a game plan, and that's what Brad's been telling you guys. Trade your plan. We have to make a plan. And I told you too, just because it's 2 hours, I had the same problem too. Don't force the trade. And that's where you're getting a little too early, things like that. So just wait. It all comes with time, and it all comes with experience. Okay. So, like I said, the market's going to be there the next 100 years. It's going to outlive you. So just wait a little bit and be patient with the trade. Okay. Don't force the trades if you don't have, or don't ever force the trade, but that's the psychology around it. You just can't. You can't keep playing like this, because your account's not going to like you anymore, and then you're not going to like yourself anymore. We don't want to get to that point. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I have to drop off now. Thanks
No,
for
you're welcome. Thanks
everything,
for
guys.
joining.
Also the question of the other guys. Thanks a lot, and have a good time.
Thanks, I would appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Thanks.
What's your guys' Instagram
At the trade
page?
vets.
At the trade.
Just the trade vets. Yep, just one word. The trade
Okay.
vets. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, I see. A lot of stuff coming through right now. I haven't responded to you guys' post over there. I haven't responded to you guys' messages, because I'm trying to give as much time to you guys here in the chat, or in the live chat. And when I go back, I'll go back and answer your messages as thoroughly as possible, you guys. Okay. I've seen a few people come over and message me so far. But Brad, I don't want to take up any more of your time, man. You got family over there to hang out with, so.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Oh, no
appreciate
problem.
it. I appreciate it. I always have a nice conversation with you guys, and I really like this format too. It gives us the ability to clearly understand everything. So and we can answer some questions. So I look forward to continuing this as we go on in the future.
And guys, let you know, Brad has a family. C13 has a family. I don't have a wife and kid or anything like that. So I could sit here and talk to you guys all day long, 24 hours a day almost. So maybe one day it'll get to that point. But we love hanging out with you guys. We love talking to you guys and getting to know you guys. Just more than what trading is. Okay. So thank you guys. We appreciate you guys' time. All right.
Remember to manage that risk and stick to your trade plan. You guys have a good Sunday, and we'll see you guys bright and early, 6:30 tomorrow for the trading.
Stop trading,
Thank you very
guys.
much.
Yeah, I just want to say this is fantastic, because the live YouTube, it's great, but when you guys are streaming, you simply can't keep up with the chat, right? A guy writes something in the
Correct.
chat, and then like 20 minutes later, you catch up. So I mean, I couldn't shut up this time, and I apologize for that, but this is I really like this format.
No, and that's okay, and that's why we're gonna have a live trading room, and it's gonna just be for trading only, right? And that's why we're gonna teach you guys first, so we can filter through all this stuff, right? It won't be teaching us; it'll be so much just walking through the market. So we'll have separate places for separate things, right? So it's hard to teach you guys on YouTube. It's hard to teach you guys on this, because we have so many different things. People are trying to trade. People are trying to learn, right? So we're gonna break it down for you guys in different formats.
I think that's it. I'll be around on the Discord, and just at me if you guys need something. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye.
See you guys. See you, Brad.
Hello?